The following is yet another high school sports presentation brought to you by the high school sports leader in North Texas, 92.1 FM KXEZ, the Possum.
6A high school Texas football on 92.1 FM at KXEZ, coming to you from Mckinney ISD Stadium. You're listening to 92.1 FM KXEZ. Welcome, everyone. Ethan Herrera here alongside my partner, Scott Powell, ready to bring you this 6A matchup between the McKinney Lions and your Rowlett Eagles. Rowlett comes into this one 0-2, looking for that first win of the season, and McKinney Lions come in at 1-1. They had a good game last week against Flower Mound Market, maybe trying to stretch it to two games in a row, and Rowlett definitely trying to stop that from becoming a winning streak. We'll hear from Coach Derek Alford on the Rowlett Eagles We Will Win show presented by Certified Foundation. In our next segment, you're listening to 92.1 FM KXEZ. Welcome back to 92.1 FM KXEZ. This is the Rowlett Eagles We Will Win show presented by Certified Foundation. Coach, a tough loss last week. Is there anything you can effectively take away from a game like that, or you just wipe your hands clean of it and move on to the next one?
A little. There's always stuff you can learn from it. And, I've doing this a while, and I don't know that I've ever been beat that bad. And it was humbling and frustrating, and there's not one thing you can point your finger to. There's obviously a whole bunch of things. Our preparation leading up to it was it wasn't great. So, but we didn't think we'd play the way we played. When that happens, you got to look yourself in the mirror. You're the guy in charge. You got to look yourself in the mirror and you find out what you can do to change it. So, nobody's pointing fingers around here. We're all looking at each other and looking at ourselves to try to fix what we got going on. And we had two really, really good days. We had a good Labor Day practice. It was really good. Play our best practice of the year, and then we had followed it up with another great practice Tuesday, and we had a shorter one yesterday, and then we'll have a walkthrough today. So we're looking forward to getting back on the field and proving ourselves worthy of being called a good football team.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, practices after that are such a good indication and such a step forward. But last week, as lopsided as it was, we actually thought up there in the booth, me and Scott Powell, we actually thought the defense played really well in the first half, but unfortunately they just always started, deep in their own territory.
Oh.
What or who you feel anchors that defensive side of the ball?
Well, Michael, and I won't even attempt to say his last name because Ickaboon is part of it, and then the other part I can't even say. But Michael's unbelievable. Him and Jacory anchored that front line, and just like you said, they played. I wouldn't say they played great defensively, but we played good enough that the score shouldn't have been what it was. So offensively, we didn't help because we weren't getting first downs, and then our special teams were subpar again, and that's something we've got to get fixed because we're losing the field position battle because of special teams. So those are all things we really focused on this week. We focused our staff meetings on all that. Spent a lot of practice time trying to fix those areas and shore them up.
Right. And, a lot of the concern from fans and even us as broadcasters last week was what happened with Harris Boyd. We didn't exactly see the play that it happened on, but is there anything you can tell us about the injury that happened to Harris Boyd and if he's available for this week against McKinney?
Yeah, he's unavailable this week, and we think we can get him back. It's hard to say right now, but the doctors are still evaluating. It's a shoulder area injury, and so anytime that kind of stuff happens, I don't like to speculate on any of it at all. I let the doctors handle it, and they tell me when he's ready. But there was a bad way to start the game, and I don't know. I had no idea that he had hurt it. And the trainer was looking at him, and then we got the fake punt, and we were successful on it, and I had no idea he was hurt. And so it was a shock to everybody. And James came in and he ran the game plan we had for Harris. He did as good a job as he could do. And this week we've got the game plan planned around what James can do and not what Harris can do. So, I think you'll see a better result on the field.
Well, we're glad that it's not anything way too serious for Harris Boyd. We're hoping to see him back out there on the field as much as anybody. This is the Rowlett Eagles We Will Win show presented by Certified Foundation as part of 92.1 FM's Countdown to Kickoff. So, Coach, moving ahead to this week, this McKinney Lions team comes in at 1-1 and put up a good fight against a strong Flower Mound Marcus team last week. So what are some keys that you're looking for from your guys to stop a team like this?
Well, like you said, to me, they're talent-wise, they're kind of similar to Waxahachie, but they're coached very, very well. Defensively, Waxahachie was a little more vanilla in their defensive looks. They've had a new coach. Obviously, they're not deep into the playbook yet. But McKinney, Coach Shavers has been there a while. I think he's been there 4 or 5 years now. So they have a great reputation of being very multiple on defense. They've always played good defense. They always mix it up well. They always disguise their stuff, and they like to move around and blitz. Offensively, I think he has a new offensive coordinator. And, for everything we've seen from them so far in offense, they do a great job offensively with the kids they have. And we played them when I was at Allen for the last 5 years, so we're familiar with McKinney and know a lot of stuff they do, and obviously they're going to know a lot of stuff that we do as well. But we look forward to the challenge. I think it's the best football team we've played so far, if you take into account everything, and we look forward to the challenge. And like I said, we had a good week of practice, and we're ready to roll.
But last week, McKinney had a quarterback change at half when they played Flower Mound Marcus. It featured Samson Nazarko, a senior for them. He threw for almost 200 yards and 3 touchdowns in the second half. Is the passing game something you and your staff have stressed this week to your guys?
Oh, without a doubt. And, they run a good little version of the bootleg and some play action that's really, really good. They mix the screens in well. And, I think they had a younger kid, sophomore kid that was playing quarterback early. He did a good job, too. He kind of had struggled a little bit against Flower Mound, and the senior seemed to give him a real spark. So we expect to see the senior, but I'm sure they'll play the other one as well. But we've been working on it all week, and we feel good about our plan. Coach Gambill's done a good job. The defensive coordinator and his staff, they've done a good job of preparing our kids.
Well, another big test on the road, Coach. How important is a game like this in a week just outside of district play?
Well, it's everything. The preseason record doesn't really affect your playoff. It doesn't affect it at all. But getting better every week and firing on all cylinders when you get to district, that's like the most important thing, and being healthy. So that's kind of how we're approaching this game. We're going with every intention of winning the game. But in the grand scheme of things, the most important thing is staying healthy and being better defensively than we were last week, and being a whole lot better on special teams than we were last week. And the same thing goes offensively. It's all about getting better right now, because, as you know, in a week against South Garland, that's when everything kicks off for real.
Right. South Garland is a good team, and district play is coming up, and we are excited about it. Well, Coach, I know the fans are excited about seeing the Eagles back in action tonight, and so are we. So good luck out there tonight against McKinney.
Yes.
That was Coach Derek Alford on the Rowlett Eagles We Will Win show presented by Certified Foundation. When we come back, we will preview the McKinney Lions and talk more about the Rowlett Eagles on 92.1 FM KXEZ. Back here on 92.1 FM KXEZ with Scott Powell, bringing him in. And Scott, what do you know about these McKinney Lions? They're a good team.
Well, I did my homework. They've been a lot better recently than they were the previous years. The last 4 years, they went 5-5 last year. They're 1-1 this year. 3 years before that, 17, they were 7-4. 18, they went 4-7. But in 19, they were 7-5. Had an area playoff loss in 2019. So it's a program on the rebound. Why do I say that? from the years 2005 to 2016, they had no winning records. They had 2 playoff teams and an overall record of 39-83. So it's a program that really suffered and is making a comeback. And a 1-1 start this year. 2 totally opposite games against Springdale, Arkansas. They jumped out to a 28-14 lead and then hung on at the end, got outscored 21-7 the rest of the way, hung on at the end, recovered a fumble with a minute left, and they held on for that win. Game 2, completely opposite. They fell behind 28-7 after 3 quarters, rallied for 14 in the fourth quarter, almost pulled it out, but their onside kick came up short with a minute left, and they lost that one 28-21 to Flower Mound Marcus. Always a good program. You know, we talked to Coach Alford in the pregame there about the 2 quarterback system. Trevor Ham played the first quarter or the first game and a half of their first 2 games, was 24-53 for 352 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. They go to Samson Nazarko in the second half last week. He led the comeback. They almost came back and won it. He did it with 3 touchdown passes and no interceptions. He also completes 54% of his passes compared to 45% for Ham. So they're kind of 2 different types of quarterbacks. It'll be interesting to see which one starts tonight. We're thinking Nazarko, with all the momentum from that big second half, might go under center, but who knows? They've got a pretty good running back in Brian Jackson, 191 yards in 2 games, 95.5 a ball game, 5.7 a carry, and he is pretty much the workhorse. Sheldon King has 67 yards rushing in 2 games. Messiah Washington, a good receiver, averages 22 yards a catch, 7 for 154, and 3 of the 7 have gone for touchdowns. The leading receiver catches-wise is Xavier Philgami, 11, but for just 92. He's the possession receiver, 8 yards a catch. Dylan Rhodes, kind of the in-between guy, 15 a catch, 10 catches, 151 yards. So they like to spread it around with the passing game. Have a pretty good running game. They average 25 first downs a game. That's pretty high for 2 games at average there. 262 through the air, another good passing attack that Rowlett's going to have to face tonight. And they also average 397 yards. Good news, they're giving up 385 yards a game, including 315 through the air. So McKinney may be vulnerable through the air to Ocola and company tonight. Of course, it's going to be interesting to see. You know, I love what Coach Alford said in the interview with you. He said, well, this week we hope for a different result with our quarterback because we game planned all week with Ocola under center. Going into last week's game, they game planned with their other quarterback who threw for, 300 yards in game 1, but they took him out after the first series, Harris Boyd, and then Ocola had to come in cold off the bench. So hopefully with a week of practice, Ocola will be a lot more prepared tonight.
Yeah, Ocola came in pretty cold, and like you mentioned right there, their new game plan this week is built around James Ocola, and hopefully we can see them get going in action early because last week kind of started off slow, kind of started the whole game slow. So we're going to try to get back on track this week.
Here's the problem. The offense for Rowlett did nothing in the first quarter and a half. They had no first downs and very little yardage. Part of the problem is they started back up deep in their own territory because they couldn't get anything on their kick returns. Their special teams were terrible, as you heard Coach Alford may not have used the word terrible, but he referred to them as not being good the first 2 weeks. So that gave them terrible field position, while Plano started in Rowlett territory almost every possession, especially in the first half. So by the time Rowlett started to put some offense together, unfortunately, they were down 12-0 after 1 quarter and then 33 at the half. And, I mean, it's all over in the second half, basically. They did get a little bit better here and there. I thought the defense was competitive in the first half. Given a short field, almost every single possession, it could have been much worse than 60-7, which was the final score.
Yeah, Coach talked about how that defense, especially that front 4 down below with Michael Igboon, Okeote, and Ja'Cory Brown, those 2 are the really big anchors for that Rowlett defense, and they're hoping to stop and get in the backfield of this potent McKinney offense.
And they did give up a lot of big plays defensively. Kind of wore down in the heat in the second half. You'll remember it was very hot here in Plano last Friday night. But I think a lot of the yards they gave up came in the second half. They gave up 424, over 10 yards a play, and also 8.6 a carry for total rushing defense of 259. They've got to get better in those areas tonight. especially against a McKinney team that's going to throw the ball well. If you allow a team that throws the ball well to average 8 yards a carry on the ground, you're in a lot of trouble defensively.
Absolutely. And this is one team and one area offensively they're going to have to get going. We've seen it the past game, and even against Waxahachie, they did well with Harris Boyd. So James Acola is going to have to come in, run this offense, and we're going to see how well he does. We're going to take a quick break right here on 92.1 FM. The countdown to kickoff is underway, or about to be underway, when we come back.
Don't forget, if you can't get us here at 92.1 FM KXEZ, you can get us at TuneIn Radio and also KXEZ.com. Tell those out-of-town folks and family and friends that they can hear our broadcast. We stream all the Rowlett games right here at KXEZ.com and TuneIn Radio.
Back on 92.1 FM KXEZ. Rowlett coming in at 0-2, looking for that first win like we mentioned. Wearing white on white, white helmet, white jerseys, white pants, white shoes even, with that maroon Rowlett maroon Eagle trim and numbering and lettering.
And McKinney, you mentioned them or not?
Yeah, McKinney coming in. They have beautiful uniforms, blue on blue, navy on navy, navy tops, navy pants, yellow helmet, bright yellow helmet with yellow numbering and lettering.
Sorry about that. Our officials tonight, Kerry Moore is the referee, Mark Mickelson, the umpire, Julian Tacnon, the head linesman, Fritz Beckworth, the line judge, Bradley Thompson will be the back judge, and there are 7 tonight. So the other 2 are the field judge, Stefan Maxwell, and the side judge is Caridius Amick. There are your officials. We got one big announcement I'll make after kickoff.
This one, a guy kicked out to the 37-yard line, fielded by the McKinney Lions, and they'll take over right there.
We've got the legendary Terry Gambill. You might recognize that name. Led the Allen to a state championship about 5 years ago. Also is the father of Cody Gambill, the defensive coordinator at Rowlett. Legendary coach at Waco Midway, 2 different stints at Allen. He's been around. He knows an awful lot about the game. And he is just retired, and he will be our halftime guest. We'll have him on for a good 20 to 30 minutes. So stay tuned for our halftime show, the Raisin Canes halftime show.
Sampson Zarco is starting at quarterback in the McKinney Lions from the right hash mark. Handed up the middle, and that was Brian Jackson on the carry, and they're moving quickly here. 2nd and 3 from the 47. Snap throw off the left side, far side. Caught by Messiah Washington, who's on the run and out of bounds at inside Rowlett territory at the 37.
Got great blocking from the other wideouts over here, Rhodes and Pearson. Looked like Rowlett had the defenders in place, but the blocks were laid, and they got a nice gain and a first down, 37.
It's the formation. He hands it off up to the left side. Goes Brian Jackson. A couple of yards on a play. Make it just 1 yard down to the 36-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 9. 30 seconds off the clock here in McKinney.
Boy, this is about as quick as you can go offensively. We're talking 10 seconds between plays.
Drops back, and Zarco under pressure, goes out to the left side, looks downfield, fires on the left side of the field down the sideline, and missed the outstretched arms of Messiah Washington. Incomplete pass, bringing up 2nd, make it 3rd and 9.
Pretty good pressure from the defensive front. He had some time initially, good coverage downfield, couldn't find anybody open. Then the rush finally arrived. There was a decent pocket. Then the pocket broke down. He rolled the pocket to the left and fired to a fairly open receiver, but not a very good pass. Quarterback trying to roll to his left as a right-handed quarterback. That was a tough pass deep downfield.
It's that front line of Michael Ibukun, Okeoti, Jacory Brown, Marvel Addiabaka, and Uba Anyam. Now, I didn't see a penalty flag.
Wow. Well, why are they getting a first down when it should be 3rd and 9, huh?
Well, that's apparently a penalty on the play, moved it up to the 21-yard line.
No signal, nothing from the referee telling us what it's about.
First and 10 as Zarco drops back, under pressure, gets out of the pocket, goes past the 20-yard line. He's got some space inside the 10, dives for the end zone and touchdown, McKinney. Sampson Zarco, who came in at the second half of last week's game against Flower Mound Market, does it with his legs. He did it with his arm last week. runs it in for the first score of the game here in McKinney.
Yeah, the sideline over here was clear, and once he turned the corner, there was nobody home. They filled the downfield with receivers, so there were no DBs in the area to make the tackle.
On for the extra point try is Luke Watkins. Watkins, the junior, puts it up and puts it in. 11:02 on the clock, 7-0. McKinney with an early lead in the first minute over Rowlett on 92.1 FM KXEZ. Back on 92.1 FM KXEZ.
Title sponsors tonight: Raising Cane's Certified Foundation, C3 Church, Trophy Nisa, Belfiore Spa and Salon, North Texas Appliance, Shelley Dietrich State Farm, Pineda's Mexican Kitchen, and their strength in numbers. Join the Rowlett Chamber of Commerce today. Go see the friendly folks at North Texas Appliance in Rockwall at 1535 East I-30, South Service Road, about a mile from the football stadium. Here's your kickoff.
And kickoff was a short kick off one of the Rowlett players, and McKinney looked like they may have recovered it, and they did.
Special teams woes continue. Had a couple of kicks blocked last week. Had a fumble on a kick return to set up one touchdown, and now a fumble on this kickoff. And things are going south already again for Rowlett after that bad start last week, trailing 33-0 at the half to play now.
Well, we thought we'd get a first look at James Okolo leading this offense out on the field for Rowlett, but instead, McKinney offense comes back out, and Rowlett defense will try to stop him this time. Nazarko steps up, fires the ball, caught at the 40-yard line, and knocked down right there. The receiver on that play for McKinney was Dylan Rhodes, the junior.
Also, Ernest Thomas was there, made a good hit, all going both ways, also as a wide receiver. Call 972-771-0393 to get North Texas Appliance in Rockwall.
And this ball up the middle, it bounces out to the left side. That's Brian Jackson, a nice gain on second down, right near the first down mark. And just short, it'll be 3rd and 1 from the 35-yard line. McKinney moving quickly from the left hash mark, going left to right. Going right to left, and off to Jackson. Up the middle he goes, and bottled up. But
it'll be short, Ethan.
It looked like it was going to get the first down, but it'll be 4th and 1.
Yeah, the tackle came out of nowhere and stopped him dead in his tracks, which was the line of scrimmage. And interesting here, it'd be a 52-yard field goal attempt, so I'm sure they're going to go for this on 4th and 1. Already up 7-0, and here we go.
Indeed, they do look like they line up to go for it. And off to Jackson up the middle, make the move, get the first down, past the 35 and down at around the 33-yard line.
Yeah, Jackson's a pretty big kid, pretty big load. Hard to stop 2 times in a row for no gain.
Jackson listed at 6'1", 210 pounds.
And he looks all of that.
Jack's wide receiver on the right side from the left hash mark. Play action, flips it out to the wide receiver, Xavier Pilasame. Makes the move inside the 20, 10, 5, touchdown McKinney.
A great play by the receiver, but he got a block initially to clear it out over there. The block thrown by Jeffrey Pearson, the whiteout on that side. And then it was kind of a one-on-one battle with the DB, Emmanuel Evans. He put a juke move on Evans, who just froze, and he went right around him and made it an easy touchdown.
Watson, comes on for the extra point try. Good snap, good hold, kick is up, and it is good. And just like that, a quick 14-0 lead over the Rowlett Eagles. These McKinney Lions have with 9:28 in the first quarter. You're listening to 92.1 FM, KXEZ.
Pineda's Mexican Kitchen is the perfect place for some of the best Mexican cuisine in Rowlett. Come on in for Taco Tuesdays. Tacos are just 99 cents. Or any day, the happy hours from 4 to 7. That's 6501 Down Rock Road in Rowlett. Come by and check out Pineda's Mexican Kitchen. 92.1 FM KXEZ, 95.3 KHYI The Range. Deeply rooted and invested in North Texas. Thanks for listening and your support. If you want to be a sponsor, call this number, 972-251-0725. Great way to reach reach your customers, very affordable, 972-251-0725.
Luke Watson kicks this one off for McKinney. Kicks it deep this time over the head of Fulton Yarborough. So it'll be a touchback to the 20-yard line, and we will see 25, and we will see Rowlett for the first time on offense down 14-0. James O'Colo will lead this offense out onto the field. Fulton Yarborough at the running back. Ernest Thomas, Xander McGallion, Trey Long, and Corey Kirkling are your receivers.
And Mr. O'Cola, after coming in for the first series last week with a full week of practice, he is the starter for the injured Harris boys.
Right between the hashes, going left to right, hand off to Yarborough, dances around, and bottled up right away by Messiah Washington. Make it Eli St. Just action. The defensive line.
6'2", 240, kind of a defensive end on this near side, and he just went completely unblocked and almost could have taken the handoff. He was in the backfield so quickly. Rowlett off to just another horrendous start after last week. I didn't think it could get any worse than last week. 2 touchdowns in the first 2 minutes and 32 seconds of this one. 14-0 McKinney.
8:50 and counting here in the first quarter.
The discouraging thing is Coach Alford said to you in the pregame, this is the best of the 3 teams we face.
Right. They hand it off to Yarborough off the left tackle. Goes toward the left hash, gets a few yards back toward the original line of scrimmage, but 1 yard short of that.
Folks, they lost to Plano last week 60-7, and Coach Alford said this could be the best team we face. My goodness, I hope that's not true.
Well, right now they do look like they're firing on all cylinders, this McKinney Lions team.
Way behind the sticks, just like they were in the first half last week. Remember, they didn't get their first down of the game last week until late in the second quarter, and they trailed 33-0 at the half.
3rd and 11 from the 24-yard line. O'Colo in the shotgun. Left to right they go. He rolls out to the right. Here comes the big St. Justice throw to the ground and incomplete. Intended for the receiver, Xander McGallion. That'll bring up 4th and 11.
Well, pressure up from the get-go, which they're getting easily so far from their front. Flushed him out to the right. O'Colo running to his right. A little easier for a right-handed quarterback moving to his right, but never really able to get the technique down, threw it on the run, and the receiver well covered, trying to make a diving catch, but the pass was just not good enough as McGallion could not come up with it.
Damon Youngblood will be the deep man for McKinney. Here's the punt from Rowlett. Good punt. Wow. Fielded at the 37-yard line. Youngblood takes it, trips up, tries to reverse his field, past the 40, stops. Goes back past the 55-yard line, past the 50-yard line, as the flag comes in, but he's on the way inside the 15 and brought down at the 5. A flag is on the field, but a huge return by Youngblood in the meantime.
It's coming back. It was kind of a late illegal block way downfield in Rowlett territory, but after you mark this off, it's going to be back inside McKinney territory. Really, where it all took place was after he caught the ball. He was surrounded by Rowlett defenders, and then the blocking engaged, and they couldn't get near him as he got it to the near sideline and almost took it the distance for 6. By the way, a 39-yard punt, and part of Rowlett's problems last week was they were bottled up. They had to keep punting deep in their own territory, and their punter was only averaging about 20 yards a punt. That had at least a 4-second hang time. My gosh, you could have hung the washout on that punt, and it went 39 yards. They just got to do a better job with the coverage.
Jacob Martin on the punt for Rowlett.
And it's only coming back to the 49, which tells you how far downfield the illegal block took place.
So we'll see the McKinney offense for the 3rd time today. It's 7:40 in the first quarter, 14-0. They lead the Rowlett Eagles. And the shotgun is Nazarko. Play action. Fires the right side. Big time play. And a nice play by Michael Ibukun. Okay, Yodi, as he swatted that ball right out of the air before it got past the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, you asked Coach Alford in the pregame who had good games defensively, which it was hard to find bright spots. But he mentioned Michael, who stood out all night long.
And off to Sheldon King up the middle, fights his way just for a gain of a yard on the play.
You know, Rowlett's doing a pretty good job against the run so far, setting up another 3rd and long, 3rd and 9, but it's probably 4 down territory at the 49 of Rowlett, 48 of Rowlett.
3rd and 9, 7:15 and counting. Play action to Zarko. Here comes the blitz, and a big-time hit. Down goes Zarko. Ball comes out, but he was down when the ball came out, and a blindside hit. My goodness, it came, Donovan Moore off the edge.
Yeah, nobody picked him up. I don't think anybody saw him coming, especially the quarterback, as you said. A blindside shot. I mean, he was blown up, and they're going to say fumble recovered by Rowlett, it appears.
Yep, yes they do.
I tell you, it was close to whether he was down or not, but it looked like a pretty good call.
Off the edge comes Donovan Moore, the senior linebacker, and delivered a blindside hit on the quarterback. Nazarko lost the ball, and with 7:07, a turnover gives Rowlett the offense the chance to go again.
Eagle sponsors tonight Advantage Storage, Chick-fil-A, Chiloso's Mexican Bistro, First Baptist Church of Rowlett, Jason's Deli, Jersey Mike Stubbs, the Musgrove Agency, Richardson Methodist Medical Center, Rowlett Food, Sign Guy DFW, Super Shack Seafood Grill, Ultimate Driving School, Whataburger. Thanks to all of our Eagle sponsors tonight.
Two receivers on the right side for Akolo, who hands this one up the middle. No, quarterback keeper past the 45-yard line, get about 4 yards on the play, and a nice job by James Akolo. Make it a 2nd and 6 from the 42.
Rowlett really needs to take advantage of this break and get some kind of points out of this.
Akolo threw for 140 yards last week on just completing 9 passes, 9 for 26. Trips out to the left side, middle of the field. He rolls out to the left. Akolo fires to the flat and caught in a nice catch in traffic was Ernest Thomas with a first down for Rowlett.
Thomas, the only one that knew it was coming. There were 2 receivers and 2 defenders. Defenders haven't even turned around yet. Really, the receivers were not even done with their pattern. And Thomas just happened to look around at the side and see the ball coming and made a catch, much to the surprise of everybody.
And Akolo timing that perfectly. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 36-yard line.
First down of the game for Rowlett. The first down in the first quarter and a half of the last 2 games.
From the left hash mark, trips out to the right side. Akolo fires in the flat to his big running back, Devontae Crow. Catches it in stride, knocks it down past the 30 to the 29-yard line. No, it's just short of the 30 to 31.
Tough play there to try and get yardage to the short side of the field because there were 2 defenders and only 1 blocker outside of the ball catcher. The 1 blocker did his job nicely, and he was lucky to get 5 out of that. Rowlett's doing a pretty good job on first down tonight.
It's 14-0 Mckinney over Rowlett, 5-3 in the first quarter. Akolo takes it, quarterback keeper off to the right side. Nice move past the 30, dive close to the first down mark, but will be.
I think he's got it even by a half a yard. Actually got a bad mark, but it was still enough for the first down.
First down Rowlett, couple of first downs on this drive.
Line did a great job of sealing the front 7 inside, and then he got a couple of good blocks from the wide receivers here on the far side. Strong side.
6.5 minutes. 5:30 mark here in the first quarter. 14-0 McKinney over Rowlett from McKinney ISD Stadium.
Good job of giving the defense a little rest here, holding on to the ball for a while because the defense was out there the first half of the first quarter after the turnover.
Doubles wide receiver set. Akolo takes it, throws it to the far side, shooting to the short side, but couldn't be handled by Corey Kirkling. Incomplete. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, not a good pass, although Kirkling might tell you he should have caught it because he got his fingertips on it, but that kind of pass, you want to kind of lead the receiver with it, give him a little forward momentum so he can catch and run with it. And the pass was just tall, and it just slowed down the entire play.
5-10 here in the first quarter, 14-0. 1st and 10, make it 2nd and 10 from the 26. Going left to right in McKinney territory. Akolo in the shotgun takes the snap, drops back, fires down the left sideline, jump ball, and looked like a lot of contact, but incomplete, but a nice arm by James Akolo.
Pretty good coverage zone. He really didn't get a lot of air under that. And, you know, the receiver, much taller than the defensive back, give that DB a lot of credit for making that play and with good coverage on the far side.
5:04 in the first quarter, still 14-0. 2 quick touchdowns for McKinney. over Rowlett. Tied into the ball game. Two receivers on the right side, one on the left. Middle of the field is James Colo. Play action. Looks left, fires left, has a man down the sideline and incomplete. Nice pass breakup by that DB, which is the big Mecca Ryder, 6'1", 175.
Yeah, Mecca Ryder, he looked like he was beaten at first by a couple of steps. One-on-one, you're out there on an island with Ernest Thomas, and at the last second he reached his paw out and knocked it away, or it would have been 6 points. You're right. I mean, the key to this fourth down is the play of Ryder on the last two plays out on that island defensively.
4th and 10 from the 26. They're going to go for it. Rowlett in the shotgun is Colo to the right of him. It's Yarborough. Tripped out to the right side, going left to right. He drops back. Time. Screen pass to Yarborough and then drops it. Ball on the ground. Fumble. It looked like he might have jumped right back on it, but there's a lot of McKinney Lions around. Either way, it's going to be a turnover.
They're going to say Rowlett recovered it, so you get a loss of 5. And, of course, on fourth down, McKinney will take over.
Turnover on down for Rowlett. So it'll be the 4th possession for this McKinney Lions team.
Don't forget, if you can't get us at 92.1 FM KXEZ, tell the out-of-town friends and family. Go to KXEZ.com. Go to TuneIn Radio, the TuneIn Radio app. You can hear us anywhere in the world if you can't get us at 92.1 FM KXEZ.
From the right hash mark now, McKinney Lions will take over. 4:51 on the clock. They hand up the middle to Brian Jackson, who pushes the pile for a gain of 5 to the 30-yard line. Going quickly now in the pistol formation. Jackson behind Nazarko. Nazarko claps his hands it up the middle to the right side, and no gain. Nice job by this Rowlett defense in front 4. And a shoe comes flying out of the pile, and a flag comes flying up from the official.
A very late flag from the referee, Kerry Moore. Something tells me this is going to be dead ball, unsportsman against somebody, and maybe Rowlett.
You know, there is a new quarterback out there from the McKinney Lions. It is the senior Alex. It's going to be tough. Riyadh Gozian.
It is on Rowlett. It'll be 15 yards and an automatic. It's only 5 yards, but an automatic first down. Cannot hear the referee, unfortunately.
First and 10 from the 35-yard line. Gogosian hands this one up the middle to Jackson, who's going nowhere and finally fights down. Man, he actually was stopped a yard behind the line of scrimmage and fought his way. A couple of defenders threw him forward for a good 3 yards.
Emilio Luna kind of just held on and kind of went on a ride. Jackson spun him. Luna would not let go and ended up making the tackle. That took a lot of strength to do that.
Brad goes in the pistol formation, hands it up the sideline to the left side to the numbers, and out, and the ball comes loose, but out of bounds, and a lucky break for McKinney and a tough break for the Rowlett D.
Yeah, a real lucky break. That ball shot straight out of bounds. He was already on the short side over here, and it went immediately out of bounds. And let's see where they're going to mark it. I think they're going to mark it back where he fumbled it by rule. You can't fumble the ball forward and get that field position. But actually, we've got a penalty marker, yeah. Communication has not been good with the referee so far tonight. We'll do our best as we go along. He doesn't even tell us what it is this time. Terrible communication, folks. We can only tell you what we're told.
For the left hash mark, Rogosian in the shotgun, hands this one off to Jackson, and here comes that front again for Rowlett, bottling up the run game, and they go to the middle. Be a gain of 3 on the play, 2 on the play to the 30.
So 3rd and 14. Good chance for Rowlett to force a punt here.
Man jumped off, but they didn't snap it. Got back in time for the left hash mark, going right to left, 3rd and 14 from the 31-yard line. Riyadh goes in, steps up, throws it to the left side, caught by Messiah Washington, who's bottled up at the 40, well short of the first down, and it'll be 4th and 5.
There's that Emilio Luna there to make another tackle. He had come all the way across the field from his linebacker spot. And they kind of let him have it, kind of kept it in front of him there. In other words, give him the short completion. needing 14 and then converge immediately, and the defense did a good job of that, forcing a 4th and 5 and a probable McKinney punt.
Ernest Thomas and Joseph Brock, the deep men for Rowlett, and to do the punting for the McKinney Lions is Luke Watkins, who also does the place kicking. 4th and 5, 2:25 on the clock in the first quarter. 14-0 McKinney over Rowlett. High punt. Brock steps up and fields a no fair catch. Caught it at the 25 and kind of falls forward to the 30. And it'll be officially the 31. James Acolo and the Rowlett offense will take over right there with 2:15 in the first quarter, down by 14.
Not a far punt, just 32 yards, but a great hang time, which kept the return minimal and allowed him to get downfield and make the tackle. Don't forget our Raising Cane's halftime show. Our halftime guest will be the legendary Terry Gambill, who coached and won a state championship at Allen, also a head coach at Waco Midway and many other places. His son Cody is a defensive coordinator on this Rowlett staff. We'll talk to him for the whole halftime coming up.
Quarterback keeper for Ocolo makes the man miss in the backfield and gets back toward the line of scrimmage. May have lost a yard, but a nice job of just getting that as he was kind of hit and made a nice move in the backfield to get back to that line of scrimmage.
Rowlett trying to build off the momentum of that drive they put together earlier. Actually, it was only 15 yards after the fumble on the quarterback sack, but they ended up at the 31 of McKinney before being stopped on downs. And they didn't even get beyond midfield until late in the second quarter last week. So things have improved a little bit offensively. A couple of defensive stands in a row, and they're down just 14-0.
From the right hash mark, going left to right, play action. Acolo looks left. Now gets out of the pocket to the left side, throws it to the man McGallion toward the first down marker, and he has it. First down, Rowlett to the 44-yard line, make it the 43.
Good job. Looked like a little pump fake the minute he got the snap, and then he rolled left. Had plenty of time. Good job by the offensive line. McGallion just working one-on-one, just kind of a shallow out. Perfect pass, gets the feet down, first down.
We talked last week that it looked like James Acolo looked more comfortable as the game went on. He's looking good so far, getting out of the pocket and throwing that ball with some confidence. He comes in with a tight end, big tight end, actually double tight end set, 2 extra linemen down there. Hand off to Yarborough up the middle, dances around, goes to the left side, runs into his own man, now falls forward. And a gain of 3 on the play to the 46-yard line. And flag comes flying in. A little extracurriculars down there.
Well, let's see if the referee will bother to tell us what the penalty is this time. We don't want to put him out too much. Here we go. He's actually going to walk over and tell us, hopefully. Well, he's walking anyway. Dead ball, personal foul, McKinney. Probably cannot hear the referee. That's why I'm speaking for him. Which is not his fault. We just want communication so we can tell you what's going on. 15-yard walk-off and a first down by penalty at the McKinney 39. And just the third penalty or the third first down of the night for the Eagles. Good drive that started back at their 31.
2 extra linemen in the ballgame from the left hash mark. Acolo throws this one to Thomas, who gets bottled up. It was a screen pass to the left side, the short side. And a loss of yardage on the play, maybe a loss of 3.
McKinney sniffed it out well. There were 2 guys there to make the tackle. The big problem was the 2 receivers that were over there to make the blocks did not get the block. But it also was to the short side of the field. He had very little room to maneuver. It's just a play that blew up from the get-go.
Half a minute left in the first quarter, 14-0. McKinney over Rowlett. Still 2 extra linemen on the other side of the formation. Left hash mark going left to right of Colo. Play action, drops back, here comes the rush, throws it, and incomplete. It looks like one of the DBs for McKinney had it in his hands.
Guess which one? Guess which one? Mr. Ryder one more time. He's a good corner. He alone has saved a touchdown or 2 that Rowlett could have gotten on their last possession. This time he arrives late and knocks it away at the last second. Boy, this guy can close in a hurry. Rowlett might want to go the other way and quit going to their left where Ryder resides.
Jumbo Tackett trots off. Here comes the spread. 2 receivers on either side of Colo. And takes the snap, throws it off to the right side, and missed his man, Corey Kirkling. Would have been well short of the first down if he caught it, but incomplete pass makes it 4th and long.
Well, they take my advice and go the other way. Unfortunately, it was a terrible pass. Circling on the comeback route, had several steps on the defender. All it took was a good pass and it sailed way over his head. Interesting, you're down 14. It's a non-district game. You're at the other team's 42. Now, it is 4th and 13, but I'm a little surprised they don't try and maybe go for this. You might look for a fake here, but I don't know if you want to give that kind of stuff away in a non-district game to the opponent.
Good point. They had a fake punt, and Coach Alford did admit that it was a fake last week that was successful.
Yeah, so you may not want to use it here, and, they may want to try and pin them here with a coffin corner. We've got to delay a game, and that's the second time in 2 weeks they've had to delay a game on a dead ball on a special teams play that's coming.
Jacob Martin, the punter for Rowlett, the deep man from Mckinney, Damon Youngblood.
39-yarder his first time with an excellent hang time. This time I would think he's going to be shooting for one of the corners.
4th and 18. Here's the punt. And this one came off the side of his foot, but takes a nice roll. He's down to the 25 and a beautiful roll. Look at her go. Inside the 10, inside the 5, and will be down at the 3-yard line.
I hate to argue with you. I'm not sure it came off the side of his foot. I think that was the plan. The return man was toward the far hash mark, and he punted it toward the near hash mark, short and low, which was unreturnable. I think that might have been the plan all along, Ethan. Having said that, there's a chance you're right, too.
Well,
usually when it comes off the side of your foot, it shoots much further to the side. This one just barely went down the hash mark. That's why I'm thinking he planned this the whole way.
Well, inside the 5 at the 3-yard line, exactly, McKinney will take over. That was the last play of the first quarter. Second quarter we go. McKinney with the ball at the 3-yard line, 14-0 over Rowlett on 92.1 FM KXEZ.
Our title sponsors tonight, Raising Cane Certified Foundation, C3 Church, Trophy Nissan, El Fiore Spa and Salon, North Texas Appliance, Shelley Dietrich State Farm.
And off of the middle he goes, and big time space past the 20-yard line, past the 30, to the 40, the 50 midfield, past the 45, and across the 40 he goes. Brian Jackson from McKinney inside Rowlett territory on the first play.
Yeah, just a simple handoff up the middle from the 3-yard line. Got into the second level immediately. Nobody home at the linebacker level, and used the good speed to come up the sideline and just almost outrun the secondary and go the distance.
So instead of Jackson on this play, they hand it to Sheldon King, who gets back to the line of scrimmage. Probably winded is Brian Jackson. Man, Rowlett thought they had something with that 3-yard start of possession for McKinney, and it's just back down.
Other title sponsors, Shelley Dietrich State Farm, Soneda's Mexican Kitchen. Their strength in numbers join the Rowlett Chamber of Commerce today.
Screen pass out to Sheldon King, who catches it on the run, past the 45, past the 35, and down to the 33-yard line. Nice screen pass, trips out to the left side for the quarterback, who's in the game for his second drive in a row, Alex Griagosi. From the left hash mark, shotgun, play action. Throw out to the left side. Screen pass is blown up. Rowlett got to him quickly. On the catch was Xavier Philistami, and there's a flag on the field though. Waiting to see from the officials. Right now,
hopefully we will get a signal. Face mask to Rowlett.
And that penalty puts them up 15 after a nice play to lose yards on that green
Derek,
pass.
that's the second penalty against Rowlett tonight on 3rd down, which has given Mckinney a first down.
From the 21-yard line, 1st and 10, right hash mark. Tied in the ball game. Rhea goes in, play action, throws it out to Dylan Rhodes, who catches it at the 20 and falls forward for a gain of maybe 6 on the play, make it 8 actually. It'll be 2nd and 2. With 10 and a half minutes to go in the first half. McKinney moving quickly. Handoff up the middle. He goes to Brett Jackson, who fights past everybody and walks it into the end zone. from 13 yards out. Touchdown, McKinney.
Well, there's the strength of Jackson. The one lineman tried to get him down around the ankles. He just shed that like it was a caterpillar. Then the second one, the linebacker actually got a good shot at him, but he's a big kid, 220 pounds. He shed that one easily, too, and made it look easy despite being hit 2 different times.
Luke Watkins on for the extra point try. It's his third time out here. He's 2 for 2 so far. Good snap, good hold. Ball is up, kick is up, and it is good. It's 21-0, 10-17 in the second quarter. McKinney Lions over the Rowlett Eagles on 92.1 FM, KXEZ. Back on 92.1 FM, KXEZ.
North Texas Appliance, longtime sponsor here at KXEZ, is where I bought my washer and dryer, refrigerator, and freezer. I encourage you to do the same. It was a wonderful experience from the friendly expertise, the in-house staff, and the friendly delivery and installation. Go to North Texas Appliance in Rockwall for your appliance needs.
Scarborough, the deep man for Rowlett, 21-0, 10-17. Second quarter from McKinney ISD Stadium. High kickoff field is at the 14-yard line. Dancing around, gets some open space, past the 30, past the 35, and finally falls down along his own by himself. It was Tajay Labrera. Nice return, gets Rowlett past the 40-yard line, and maybe exactly at the 40, make it the 41. And we'll see James Acolo lead the Rowlett offense, maybe trying to make some inroads on this 21-0 lead with just under 2 minutes to go, or 2 minutes off the clock in the second quarter, rather. Acolo out there with 2 receivers to the right side, tied into the ball game. That's McGallion on the left side. They hand this one off to Crow, who's throttled up and beat behind the line of scrimmage, and a loss of 3 on the play. Ball be placed at the 38-yard line.
Tried to run the sweep right with Crow, and the left defensive tackle and left defensive end literally met him before he could even begin to approach the corner. In other words, they just penetrated and waited for him to come into their waiting arms. They've got to do a better job sealing those guys inside.
From the right hash mark, going right to left, it's 2nd and 13. From the 38, Acolo, one-on-one coverage, throws it out to the right side, down the right sideline, and what a catch. He jumped around and made a beautiful catch. Is that Corey Kirkland down there? Yes, it was.
Yeah, great diving catch on his back. The throw kind of turned him around toward the outside, but the key is Kirkland located the ball. The defensive back did not, and that's why he made the catch.
Kirkland with a nice, beautiful catch on that back shoulder. Again, from the right hash mark, going right to left. 2 receivers on the right side, 1 on the left side. Acolo drops back out of the pocket. Will suck it and run. Flags from flying in with a gain of about 4 on the play to begin. In the meantime,
well, we're going to have an illegal block further upfield, further up the sideline. 2 receivers blocking, and something tells me one of them laid an illegal block, and this is coming back. Although McKinney might think about declining this because it would be a 3rd and about 8 at the 35. They're going to take actually it's against McKinney. Must have been defensive holding, and it is. So instead of the illegal block downfield, the defender was holding the receiver.
Nice break for Rowlett.
Yeah.
Now they're inside the 25-yard line to the 24. 1st and 10. 8:57 on the clock in the second quarter, 21-0. McKinney over Rowlett. Now they spread it out. 2 receivers on the outside of the formation. Devontae Crow to the left side. Acolo throws his one to Thomas on the far side and was well wide of Thomas, although he did make a nice effort. Incomplete pass, 2nd and 10.
Yeah, the high pass kind of laid him out to dry. In other words, took a pretty good shot to the abdomen as he tried to go up and make the catch. Unfortunately, he didn't get the ball, but he got the shot from the defender.
8:41 on the clock, 21-0 McKinney over Rowlett here from McKinney ISD Stadium. Ethan Herrera with Scott Powell on 92.1 FM KXEZ. We thank you for joining us. From the right hash mark, going right to left. Trips out to the left side, Crow to the right of James Acolo, who's in the quarterback position. However, movement up front looks like it might be false start or procedure. Indeed it is. .8:40 on the clock here in the second quarter and counting. It'll be 2nd and 15. 21-0 McKinney over Rowlett. Rowlett had a tough time last week against Plano. 60-7 was the final score. Tripped out to the left side from the right hash mark, going right to left. The lone receiver on the right side is Kirkling. Ocolo fires that way to Kirkling. Ball is up, caught. Did he catch it? He did, inside the 5-yard line to the 4. Corey Kirkling with a second beautiful catch on this drive, right over his man.
25 yards, just like the last play. One-on-one coverage down the far sideline. The throw was kind of the outside, so he has to back up and spin his body around and make the catch on the sideline with a defender in the area. And by the way, he also has to get 2 feet inbound, which he did a good job of. Boy, that play is really working well to Kirkland.
2 extra linemen into the ball game from the 4-yard line. First and goal. Acolo in the shotgun on the right hash mark. Thomas on the left side. Kirkland on the right side. Devontae Crow takes it. Bounces it outside. Fights for the goal line. And touchdown, Rowlett. First touchdown of the game. Devontae Crow. From 4 yards out, and Rowlett is on the board with 6.
Good power run to the right side off of the right tackle. Got just enough blocking, and Crow kind of low to the ground. Not a tall, big kid, and he was kind of able to sneak in there over the goal line.
Jacob Martin on for the extra point try. Yarborough to do the holding. Good snap, good hold, and block. Extra point block out of the back of the end zone. It'll stay right there. 21-6, 7:43, second quarter. McKinney over Rowlett on 92.1 FM, KXEZ. Back on 91 FM KXEZ, 7:43 in the second quarter, 21-6. Rowlett just scored on a 4-yard run by Devontae Crow.
Pineda's Mexican Kitchen, perfect place for some of the best Mexican cuisine in Rowlett. Come in for Taco Tuesdays, they're just 99 cents, or any day, happy hours 4 to 7, 6501 Down Rock Road in Rowlett. Come in and see Pineda's Mexican Kitchen. Some of our other sponsors tonight: Lakeview Car Wash, Golden Rule Auto Care, Advantage Storage, Rowlett Eagle Football Booster Club.
Jack Hager kicked this one off for Rowlett. Going to be fielded inside the 30-yard line, and we'll see the McKinney Lions offense back out there. They have a 21-6 lead over Rowlett with 7:43 in the second quarter. Yeah, we got a good halftime guest, don't we?
Absolutely. Terry Gambill, longtime coach at Waco Midway and Allen, won a state championship a few years ago at Allen. He will come in and talk to us. He is retired, father of Cody Gambill, the defensive coordinator for Rowlett. So we'll talk high school football with Mr. Gambill here on the Raisin Canes halftime show.
We haven't seen Zarko, and they hand this one up the middle to Jackson, and Jackson bottled up right at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd and 10 from the 30-yard line. We haven't seen Zarko since the first drive. It's been all Alex Griagosian. Griagosian for the McKinney Lions in the shotgun on the left hash mark. 2 receivers on the right side. Another handoff up the middle of Jackson. Jackson this time pushes the pile. Gain of 4 on the play, looks like. They're going to give him that extra yard.
third quarterback of the year for McKinney.
Absolutely. A little odd.
Yeah, you could say that.
Well, Nazarko did take a huge hit. Now that I think about it, from Donovan Moore, may have knocked him out of the game. 3rd and 4. Bad snap. Throw out to the left side. A wide open receiver, but he dropped it. Had the first down, but the wide open receiver, Messiah Washington, couldn't hold on to it.
Ball was slightly behind him, but because of that, he had to try to turn his body at the last second and had to come back to the ball also. But he had the angle on the defender and still could have made the catch. Now they're going to pump the ball away in their own territory.
Luke Watkins, the punter for McKinney. Ernest Thomas and Joseph Brock, the 2 deep men for Rowlett. This one, terrible punt, end over end, hits down in midfield and stops. Rolls back towards the McKinney side, and a really bad punt puts Rowlett in great field position with 6:33 on the clock, down 21-6.
How about a 13-yard punt?
We've seen some good punts so far from these punters, both sides, and that was by far the worst one.
We would love to have you as a sponsor. Very affordable. Great way to reach your customers. Call 972-251-0725 as 92.1 KXEZ, 95.3 KHYI are deeply rooted and invested in North Texas. We thank you for listening and your support.
6:33 here in second quarter, 21-6 to score. Middle of the field, Okolo in the shotgun, 2 receivers on either side. He drops back, looks left, tucks it, steps up, and to the 45-yard line, dives forward, and a gain of 4 on the play. Make it 3 to the 45-yard line. Second and 7. .608 and counting here in the second quarter. 2nd and 7 from the 45-yard line of McKinney. Okolo in the shotgun. Yarborough to the right of him. Rolls out to the right side. Looks down the field. Throws it in the flat and threw it behind his receiver, Corey Kirkling. Incomplete. It'll bring up 3rd and 7.
Yeah, he tried to fit that one into a very small space. Kirkling. Good hard throw, but he threw it behind Kirkling. He could not make the catch. Trying to thread the needle, you might say, over there on the far sideline.
Just under 6 minutes to go here in the second quarter. 21-6, McKinney Lions over the Rowlett Eagles. We are the official home of the Rowlett Eagles football team. Trips out to the right side. Ernest Thomas, the lone receiver on the left. Solo takes it, looks right, steps up to the right side, and taken down from behind. Right at midfield mark, and a big-time sack for McKinney. Brings up 4th down for Rowlett.
And again, a long 4th down, 4th and 12. They're going to have to punt this away.
Jacob Martin will come back out for Rowlett.
He's had 2 39-yard punts. 2 totally different punts, one with a big hang time and the other one pinning McKinney back at their 3-yard line. What he needs here is a deep punt.
High snap. Bad snap, and Martin still gets it away with a beauty. Inside the 20, it's going to roll inside the 10 and inside the 5 again. Jacob Martin, the second time tonight, pinning McKinney inside their own 5-yard line.
Well, if you want to see one difference from one week to the next, the punting is so much better tonight than it was last week, where he averaged around 25 a punt. Tonight, he's had 2 pinned inside the 5-yard line, and another one 39 yards with a 5-second hang time. So they've got this part of it figured out from one week to the next.
21-6, McKinney over the Rowlett Eagles, 5:03. Griagosian back in at quarterback in the shotgun. Hands it up the middle to Jackson. Jackson pushes the pile again. Man, he's so good at that. Still pushing the pile, still on his feet. And a gain of 6 on the play. If I'm not mistaken, no, it is a gain of 7. Bring up 2nd and 3. Second and 3 from the 11-yard line.
Jackson had come out for a play. His helmet came off.
That'll mean the backup running back, Sheldon King, comes into the ball game onto the left side of Griegosian, who does take the snap as a whole and brought down hard. And to make that play was Jabril Betts for Rowlett. Gained maybe a yard on the play, bringing up 3rd and 2. 4:20 and counting here in the second quarter. The first half of play for McKinney ISD. The Lions from McKinney have a 21-6 lead over the Rowlett Eagles. From the right hash mark, going left to right, man in motion for McKinney. Rhea goes in, hands this one off. The left side goes Jackson, and he falls down right at the line of scrimmage. Actually loses a yard on the play.
A good stand here from Rowlett. Should have to punt it away here on 4th and 3 at their own 11 or 15.
Well, you say that and the offense doesn't budge. It's now they do. The punt unit will come out on the field for McKinney.
I know we're trailing 21-6, but I've seen drastic improvement over last week. Better defense. Mainly, they're moving the ball and keeping their defense off the field, unlike last week. Winning the field position battle. All these things were not happening last week. A major improvement from despite trailing by 15 points. That's how bad last week was when they lost 60-7.
Broxton Thomas back for Rowlett and a timeout. Timeout on the field. 21-6, McKinney over Rowlett. 3:20 on the clock. You're listening to 92.1 FM, KXEZ.
This is the Possum, 92.1 KXEZ, Farmersville, Dallas, and KXEZ.com.
Punch this one away, fielded at the 40-yard line, and will be returned to the 34. And Rowlett will take over right there. 3:11 here in the second quarter. 21-6 the score. McKinney Lions over Rowlett. God, you said that this team looks a heck of a lot better from last week. I mean, you see these improvements, especially defensive side of the ball. Linebackers shooting the gap, and front four just doing a fantastic job.
The big difference is there's 2 teams out there this week. Last week it seemed like there was 1 team out there most of the time. I mean, it wasn't even competitive last week, not even close to being competitive. This is much closer than a 21-6 game, if you ask me.
Okolo steps up in the pocket, has his man across the middle, and a nice play, almost a little jump throw from James Okolo, and a 5-yard gain to the 30-yard line.
And I like to say that because that means they were well coached during the week. You heard Coach say in the pregame how they had a great early week practice. In other words, they did not get down on themselves. Everybody's going to go through that kind of game. They're going to get blown out. Everybody's going to go through that. It's how you respond to it. Timeout on the field. Advantage Storage, one of our Eagles sponsors tonight, as well as Chick-fil-A, Chiloso's Mexican Bistro, First Baptist Church of Rowlett, Jason's Deli, Jersey Mike Subs, the Musgrove Agency, Richardson Methodist Medical Center, Rowlett Food. More in a moment.
Okolo drops back, steps on the pocket, tucks it and runs past the 25-yard line and falls and down at the 22. The ball comes out, but they're saying Okolo is down before that happened.
Other Eagles sponsors, Rowlett Food, Sign Guy DFW, Super Shack Seafood Grill, Ultimate Driving School, and Whataburger.
.240 left to go in the first half. 21-6, Rowlett trails the McKinney Lions. Okolo looking good out there. Trips to the right side. Ernest Thomas, the lone receiver on the left side. Middle of the hash mark. Okolo in the shotgun, takes the snap. Here comes pressure, steps up, dances around, and brought down hard right at the line of scrimmage. Don't know if they're going to credit a sack to that Mckinney defense or not, but either way, he's down right at the line of scrimmage, bringing up 2nd and 10. 2:03 and counting.
3 timeouts left for Rowlett, so that makes 2 minutes on the clock look like a whole lot more.
They might be in field goal range with the leg of Jacob Martin right now. Trips to the right side. Okolo in the shotgun. Looks left. Fires left for the lone receiver. Ernest Thomas was turned around and incomplete. We'll bring up 3rd and 10.
Everything working against Rowlett there. You had double coverage in the corner over here in the end zone, and also the ball was slightly underthrown, so it would have been a miraculous catch for Thomas to come up with that. They're lucky, really, it wasn't picked off.
It'll be 3rd and 10 with a minute 39 in the second quarter. 21-6, Mckinney over Rowlett from McKinney ISD Stadium. Trips to the right side. Crow to the left of Okolo. Lone receiver on the left side is Ernest Thomas. Okolo looks that way. Slant, caught. No, in and out of the hands of Ernest Thomas. Incomplete pass. Will bring up 4th down.
You called it kind of a deep slant. He was open, had position on the DBs. Ball was slightly thrown behind him, but I'm sure a receiver of Thomas's ability would tell you he might have been able to catch that, should have caught that, and it would have gone for a pretty good gain or maybe even a first down. Now they may set up, try for a field goal here. It's going to be a decent angle, almost center of the field. It'll be put down about the 29. So a 39-yard attempt if they try it just inside the middle of the field or outside the middle of the field.
On the left hash mark, Martin the kicker. The holder is Yarborough.
And Rowlett takes his timeout. So I hope they're not trying to freeze their own kick, or something tells me they didn't have the right personnel on the field.
Well, there was a little bit of confusion down the front line. And with a minute 35, 21-6 to score, Rowlett trails the McKinney Lions on 92.1 FM KXEZ. Jacob Martin, the kicker, and Colton Yarborough, the holder, from 39 yards down. Good snap, good hold. Kick has the distance. Does it have the angle? It does. 39 yards. Kick and field goal made by Jacob Martin. 3 points on the board for Rowlett. 21-9, a minute 30 in the second quarter. We go on 92.1 FM KXEZ.
Don't forget our halftime show coming up, our Raising Cane's halftime show. Terry Gambill, legendary coach. He's retired. Used to coach at Allen and Waco Midway as well as other places. Garland High School he used to coach at. Actually, he played at Garland High School. Well, we're going to get his thoughts on the first half and a lot of good information coming up from the retiring coach Terry Gambill here at halftime. So stay tuned for our Raising Cane's halftime show.
39-yard field goal from Jacob Martin with 3 points on the board. And the kickoff fielded inside the 40-yard line, just inside. It'll be marked at the 41, actually. So it's a minute and a half, 21-9 to score. McKinney over Rowlett. We will see Alec Griagosian, who's been the backup quarterback ever since we saw Nazarko get knocked out of the game. A minute and a half to go in the second quarter. Griagosian in the shotgun. Drops back, fires in the middle of the field toward the numbers and caught. Nice catch to go up there at the tallest point and make that catch was Damian Youngblood. Well, now the officials are coming together and saying that it was incomplete and in and out of the hands of Youngblood. Indeed incomplete. 2nd and 10. the 39-yard line. From the right hash mark, going left to right. Gregosian in the shotgun. Drops back. Looks toward the middle of the field. Fires. And Youngblood this time catches it.
McKinney with 2 timeouts left, 1:15. That'll stop the clock momentarily to move the chains. That's a lot of time when you're talking about 2 timeouts to go with it.
Just across the midfield mark to the Rowlett 49. Play action. Naked screen out to the right side of Youngblood. 3 times he's been targeted, and multiple flags come in.
Well, it's going to be holding by one of his fellow receivers over here, he got beaten by a defender and just kind of reached down, grabbed him by the back of the jersey to try and keep him off of his teammate, and I think they're going to get a hold for that. I was kind of interesting. The official closest to the play did not throw his flag, and it came from the 2 that were way downfield in the backfield here, defensive backfield. Sometimes the further away you are, the easier it is to see things. Good example right there.
Indeed, it is holding.
They restart the clock, 55 and counting, and still 2 timeouts. They've got to line up quickly and go here.
From the right hash mark, left to right, Gregosian, shotgun, drops back, fires to the right side, has his man at the 50-yard line, bottled up.
Probably going to need to take a timeout here because he could not get out of bounds.
Yeah, just stayed in bounds was that receiver, Xavier Silsalmi.
They're going to try and line up, do this quickly. Boy, I would have used one of my 2 there, and I think there's a whistle. I'm thinking they may have just taken one of their 2 right there. Looks like the coach may have been trying to take the timeout. Nobody saw it.
Actually, it looks like there's a Rowlett Eagle down near the 45-yard line.
Oh, that's a good point. They may not get charged with a timeout, although he is now coming off the field. And that's one of their receivers, Kirkling, going both ways here. And now I guess we are going to get a full timeout as the trainers are out there with their water. Or is this a timeout? No, the referee's telling them to get off the field, I think. I don't think this is an official timeout. Going to reset the clock at 29 seconds. Still 2 timeouts listed under McKinney. And they're going to wind that clock.
It'll be 2nd and 10 from the 49-yard line around left from the right hash mark. Gregosian in the shotgun. To the left of him is Jackson. He drops back. Passes space, steps up, and fired. And here comes the ball. The ball was loose. Rowlett D back to quarterback, but the ball was down.
Yeah, they're going to say he was down. It looked like a pretty good call to me. As the defender on his back drove him to the turf, and the ball came out kind of late, it looked like.
Sack will be credited to Corey Brown.
They just let the clock run out, Ethan. Never used those 2 timeouts they had.
An odd decision by Coach Shavers for McKinney, but that'll take us to the end of the first half. McKinney 21, Rowlett Eagles 9 on 92.1 FM, KXEZ.
And we're back on the Raising Cane's halftime show. Tell you what, having a little technical problem. I'm going to send it back for a quick break, and then we'll be back with our interview in just a moment here on KXEZ. And Scott Powell back with you. Our halftime score is 21-9 in favor of McKinney over Rowlett. Terry Gambill is our Raising Cane's halftime show guest, and if you don't recognize that name, I'm not going to tell you everywhere he's been as a head coach, but he's been a lot of places. We'll get into that a little bit, but more notably, he was at Matt Allen, for 9 years as a defensive coordinator. They won state championship in 2008 while he was a defensive coordinator. Then he went to Waco Midway and was a head coach. And then he went back to Allen the last 5 years where he won a state championship as the head coach in 2017. Just retired before this school year began after 36 years of coaching. A couple of other notes. He's been at Garland. He's been at Forney, South Lake Carroll, a long resume. Currently, his son Cody Gambill is the defensive coordinator at Rowlett. That's how we were able to get him to come up and talk to us tonight. He's here to watch his son play. as well as his former offensive coordinator, Rowlett head coach Derek Alford, as well as Mckinney's head coach, current head coach, Marcus Shavers. He was Coach Gambill's defensive coordinator at Waco Midway, so there's a lot of tie-ins with Terry Gambill there tonight. And Coach, thanks for coming up and talking to us.
Thank you for having me. It's a great pleasure, great honor to come back and watch Rowlett and any Garland schools play on Friday nights, because Friday night fever is pretty thick in our family anyway. And just really proud of what GISD did for me, and really excited about just being up here tonight with y'all.
I want to start with your opinions on the first half. I'll tell you, I want to brag a little bit about Derek Alford. Did you see last week's game with Plano at all?
I've watched them since they scrimmaged and watched the first 2 weeks, and they took a big blow by losing their quarterback. And I agree with you. They did a great job of regrouping the kids, number one. It was a big-time loss for them early in the ball game, first series last week. And to do what they've done is to slow the game down. They started huddling tonight and just keeping the game in reaching distance. They're a team that can score quick, too, and they've got great receivers. And Coach Alford, it did not shock me of what he put together today.
Great example of what coaching during the week can do and keeping the kids positive. He told us on the pregame show that they had one of their best practices. I guess it was Labor Day. Like Monday. So that's real encouraging, because you would think they'd be way down after losing 61 to 60 to 7. What are your thoughts on this Rowlett team? I've never seen a team that could use the non-district play as much as they need it, but they seem to be getting better. They actually played pretty well in week one. I just think they're going to have a pretty good team especially by the time they get their quarterback back.
Most definitely. Week one, they had an opportunity to win that game, and in fact, they did. They had the touchdown called back in overtime, and all they had to do was kick the extra point. But they ended up losing in overtime against a good Waxahachie team. And then last week, losing the quarterback. But that's why you play the non-district schedule. I think the kids have got to keep in mind that it's not our season. District is right around the corner. So it's to find out where they're at. You got to remember, Rowlett did not have these coaches there until late, so they were not able to go through spring ball. They did not have them during the off season. So to do what they're doing tonight, I think it's a great deal for the coaches, the job that they've done all week to regroup the kids and to come back and have an opportunity to compete tonight. I just think that Coach Alford, his staff, have done a great job this week.
And let's be honest, your former coach, it's his first year as the head coach. You got to think the kids were maybe doubting, what is it we're doing here? We just got destroyed by Plano. It just looked awful doing it.
Right.
I'm sure they'd be the first to admit. So, there had to be some questions about, who is this guy they hired to be our coach here? And obviously it's all worked out beautifully.
Yeah, anytime that you win a game, it builds confidence. And anytime you lose a game, you lose a little momentum and confidence. So I think it all falls back on the coaches to rally the kids up. The kids have to do a great job of trusting what they're being taught throughout the week. I think you can see that. The fans can tonight by their game plan and what they put together. The other area that I've seen improvement tonight is the kicking game. They have changed the formation on their punt formation. They're getting snaps. What a great job they did by getting the hold in the field goal. That was not an easy field goal for a high school team right before the half for Rowlett, and they did a great job of that. So they've improved in areas of the kicking game. Defensively, the thing that they've got to do is eliminate the big plays. They're creating turnovers in every ball game that the first three ball games. They have created turnovers, and they've created some sacks and big plays. They just got to eliminate the big plays. Offensively, they've got to put together some drives this second half to give themselves a chance to win the game when it comes down to the fourth quarter.
Why did you decide to retire?
Well, it was a time in my life I thought that it was time. And I really, people have asked me that question a bunch, but I just think that it was time, and I think that, some point in your life, everybody goes through that process, and I think that you have to just eventually say, when are you going to pull the trigger? And I thought it was time.
Your son is on the sideline, defensive coordinator for Rowlett. That's one reason I wanted to talk about the next subject, the life of a high school football coach. You have been to 7 different schools and 7 different stops because you went to Allen twice. What is that like as a coach trying to raise a family and you're constantly on the move? You've gone from Garland to Duncanville to South Lake Carroll to Forney to Allen, then you leave town and go to Waco Midway, then you come back to Allen. You've got the classic resume, lots of different places. Does it help to have a son who wants to be a coach? Does that help, the family to understand what this life is like?
All our kids, we have 3. Cody, the defense coordinator at Rowlett, Chase, he's in the finance world, and then Casey, she's the first grade teacher over in Aledo. And then my wife was a former Garland ISD Hall of Famer. She's got the big name. Cindy Greer did gymnastics at North Garland and ran Flippers Gymnastics for 20 years in Garland. And so that was the reason that I was able to move around, but we always lived in Garland. And she ran Flippers Gymnastics. We had a great family of our kids growing up, being in the gym, understanding what sports was about. So they all played sports growing up. And our family is just a sports-minded family. We were very fortunate to have great, great families, our parents that instilled work ethic, education, and that's one of the things that me and my wife, Cindy, are so proud of all 3 of our kids and their families, their spouses. They all have college degrees. They've all done things the right way, and they're having successful careers. And sometimes you got to step back and just not look at scoreboards and see the success that people are having. Garland Independent School District is doing a great job working with so many kids right now. And last school year, those are the things that you've got to look at and piece together as far as your success. Don't look at scoreboards. Look at what you do every day in a kid's life. And I think Garland ISD is doing a great job of impacting kids.
So after spending 10 minutes with you, you need to either be an analyst on our radio broadcast, or you need to be a motivational speaker. I think you'd be good at either one.
Well, I appreciate that. It's after you speak to so many people, you have opportunities. But I still go back to where I grew up, and it was at Garland High School. The things that if I did not say this, one of the things that I need to say, Coach Joe Boring. A 3-sport letterman. He is in the Texas Sports Hall of Fame down in Waco. He is in it. He lettered 3 sports. Joe Boring, he was my head coach at Garland High. We had a great run my junior year in the playoffs. That's back when they only took 1 team. And he prepared me for the moments of coaching. His staff, they're like family. And I love those guys, and love what Garland High School and Garland Independent School District did for Terry Gambill.
You are listening to Terry Gambill, the retired legendary coach here in the state of Texas, here on the Raising Cane's halftime show. It's 21-9. Mckinney over Rowlett, a much improved Rowlett team tonight, even though they trail 21-9. I want to talk about your ties with this game tonight. We'll start, first of all, with your son, Cody, who's the defensive coordinator at Rowlett. Did you always think that he would go into coaching? Was this a lifelong dream, wanting to follow his father?
There's no question. When he was a young child, he was our ball boy when I was at South Lake Carroll. He would come to the games, and he was probably about 5 years old. He would ride on the buses with the kids, and he knew because he had a little playbook at home that he kept in his room that he drew circles and had his own little playbook, and he would show me that, and we would laugh. But we all knew as a family that that's the direction that he was headed. Chase, my middle son, he had the math background. That's why he went to finance. And then my daughter, Casey, was a cheerleader, and she cheered all the way through college and everything like that. So, yes, we knew Cody was going to be a coach.
You think he'll be a head coach one day?
I think that's what his goals are, and I think he's headed in the right direction.
How old is he now?
He is 32. He's got 2 little girls, so that gives me
Grandpa.
Grandpa. They call me Coach Paul. And so they're precious little girls, and Collins and Kayla.
I think the most interesting tie-in tonight is the 2 head coaches, Derek Alford of Rowlett and Marcus Shavers of Mckinney, both worked under you, were coaches under you. Derek, offensive coordinator for you at Midway, and also Allen the second time at Allen, correct? And then Shavers, something tells me I got that wrong, but I did my best. Shavers, defensive coordinator at Midway for you.
Shavers was the defensive end at Allen for me. He was a high school All-American and then went to the University of Arkansas. And Marcus was one of those kids that had just people gravitate to him. There's no question in my mind the success he's having here at Mckinney. When he got here at Mckinney, he started having success because people gravitate to Marcus because of the job he does. Derek has been with me until I announced my retirement for 11 years. The offense was his. He ran it. He did a great job. We scored lots of points at both schools at Midway and at Allen. I mean, we scored plenty of points throughout our careers. The thing that I love about him is how he coaches and works with kids. He works with the quarterback, and you can see that they had a problem here at Rowlett, experienced it last year, but look what the quarterback's doing tonight. What a great job he's done this week.
Not every assistant coach has the makeup to be a head coach. What is it about Derek Alford that says he has the makeup to be a great head coach?
I think coaching is all about relationships. I think you have to have a great relationship with your coaching staff. I think you got to have a great relationship with your community, and I think you got to have a great relationship with your kids because you're in that role where people are counting on you, and now you've got to be able to work with lots of people and show them and educate them what this position's about, what our program's about. Rowlett, I think, will be a very successful program from here on in. Just look at the progress they made in a matter of 3 practices tonight. So it shows the leadership ability that Derek has shown.
Now, you also, back in your younger days, you had to learn under some head coaches. You were an assistant for several years out of your 36. 3 in particular, unless I'm leaving somebody out: Joe Martin at Allen, Max Mayfield at Forney, Bob Ledbetter at South Lake Carroll. Any 1 or 2 things you learned from them that are different that helped to mold you?
Well, I was fortunate at an early age. My 3rd year of coaching, I became a defense coordinator under Dennis Harris, and he taught me a lot. And Coach Boring, when I was a high school player, I learned a lot. But those 3 men, Bob Ledbetter, Joe Martin, and Mel Maxfield, just the way that they handled their staff, I just loved coming to work and working for them and being in a role, in a position that they allowed me to coach and do the things that I learned from all of them. All 3 of those guys are unbelievable head coaches. They had great careers, and just learned from the head coaches and our staffs because you do it as a team. When you coach, it's not one person. It is a team, and it's just like the team playing on Friday nights. You work together, and so everything comes together on Friday night through your hard work on the weekends, on Saturdays and Sundays.
And it's also a case a good head coach has to know how to delegate authority also, right?
Most definitely. If you don't have a great staff of coaches that are great teachers in the classroom, that's where it starts.
Really?
You've got to be a great teacher because think about what these coaches do throughout the week. They teach, and then they go to practice. So what are they doing in practice? They're teaching. So you got to be a great teacher. You got to understand what kids have gone through. You got to understand that this kid may have not had lunch today. Now, how are you going to handle that situation? And it's all about how you handle situations and working with people.
You were a teacher at one time, I'm sure, when you were an assistant. What did you teach?
I taught world history. I had a hard time pronouncing a lot of those names, but it was a challenge, and we had a great time. When I first got into the education, I did not want to be labeled as the coach that propped his feet up on the desk and did nothing. I wanted kids to understand that they came to Coach Gambill's class and we were going to learn something today.
Why 2 stints at Allen? course, why not? Some people would say. Your first stint, 9 years, but you were not a head coach in your first stint, correct?
Correct.
Always
right.
a defensive coordinator. You did win a state championship toward the end of that little 9-year run. What, the 8th year or whatever?
Yes, 2008. That was the first state championship in Allen, Texas.
And then you won a state championship in 2017 as the head coach, and you came back for that 5-year stint before you retired. Why did you want to come back to Allen, or maybe better yet, why not?
Well, one of the reasons that we came back, me and my wife Cindy and our family, is our kids were grown, but our parents and our families lived back up here in the Metroplex. So we wanted to get closer to our home and our family. And then we knew what Allen was about. My wife is a math teacher at Allen, and she runs the cheerleading program. And so she wanted to get involved back up here in Allen also. She teaches algebra, and she does a great job with all the cheerleaders. And I just beat her to the retirement. She's not real happy with me some days, but she'll get over it. But she does a great job of educating young people and teaching the cheerleading and coaching that also. So that's why we wanted to get back close to the family, and we knew what Allen was about.
We're running a little low on time. The team's starting to come back out for what should be a good second half. A couple of final questions. I think Chad Morris is a great hire. Gosh, could you find a better coach for a high school program than Chad Morris? I take it you're on board with that. And why did you go to Midway? I think Midway is a great example of a program. It shows how hard it is to win a state championship. I mean, you were only involved in 2 at Allen. You know, people don't understand this necessarily. Allen does not win the state championship every single year. Nope. They win a lot, but they don't win it every year.
That's right.
Midway is a good example of a great program. It just shows how hard it is to win one, isn't it?
Yeah, so our second year there, we were able to play Lake Travis and lost to them for the state title. Winning a state championship, number one, you got to be healthy. You got to get a lot of breaks, and you got to have a community that supports your program. And those are things that are just not, you just can't create it every day or every year. So it's very difficult. And, number one thing is that you got to stay healthy.
Tell us about the quarterback you lost to in that state championship game.
We played against Lake Travis. Their head coach was Hank Carter, who was the defense coordinator when Coach Morris left Lake Travis. He took over. But the quarterback at Lake Travis that year is the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, and that's Baker Mayfield. So we had our hands full that night. It was a very competitive, close ball game. We lost 17-10 and had a chance, but he was a handful that night.
When you say Patrick Mahomes is an example of a guy that is great example of a guy that's gotten better the higher the level he gets to.
Yes.
When you say Baker Mayfield might have been the same way?
Oh, there's no question.
You've got to be, don't you?
Yeah, and I think those guys would tell you if they were sitting here tonight, every year they grow and learn. I mean, why does Tom Brady at the age of 42 continue to play the game and keep
44, isn't it?
44, that's right. You got me. But how does a man like that, but I'll tell you how they improve and how they get better, is they're coached. Every day at practice.
That's funny coming from a coach. But
they are coached, and Tom Brady wants to be coached. And if you're going to be successful as a family, as a team, you've got to work together as a team. You cannot put your ego out there. You got to put your ego and lose it at the door and just become a team and put the team first. But at the same time, when you're talking about how you're going to play, you got to be coached.
Well, thank you for coming up here and doing this. I got to ask you this before I let you go. You've admitted that you're a golfer. What do you plan on doing with all your free time now? Or, some people say I get busier in retirement than I was before. That'd be hard for a coach to say that, I would think.
Yes, I do find rounds of golf. I love playing golf. I'm putting in 20 hours, rehire there at Allen ISD. I'm working with kids. I'm in the truancy department. So I'm dealing with truancy, and hopefully we'll make an impact and change some kids' lives.
Well, thanks for doing this. Good luck to your son, Cody, and his future, and hopefully he will be a head coach soon, and good luck with the Rowlett Eagles.
Thank you so much for having me, and let's go Eagles.
That's Terry Gambill, the recently retired Terry Gambill, now enjoying life as a golfer and whatever he wants to do. Appreciate that. Let's take a break. Back with the second half kickoff in a moment. 21-9, McKinney over Rowlett here on KXEZ. Got fouled back. Let's look at the first half stats before we kick off the second half for Rowlett first. They had 8 first downs, just 18 yards on the ground on 12 carries, 74 passing yards for a total offense of 92 yards, compared to McKinney's 10 first downs, 124 on the ground on 21 carries, 95 through the air for a total of 219. So McKinney outgained Rowlett 219 to 92. No fumbles for either team. No interceptions. Actually, McKinney did lose the fumble. That's not on here, but, they did have a lost fumble. Should be the only turnover of the game. Punting, Rowlett, 3 punts for a 44-yard average. That showed. 2 of those were downed inside the 5-yard line. Penalties, it's been a pretty well-played game. Only 5 penalties against each team, although McKinney, 73 yards in penalties compared to 45 for Rowlett. Time of possession almost dead even, 12 minutes to 11 minutes. For Rowlett individually, not much on the ground. Okola, the quarterback, 15 yards on 7 carries. He's the leader by far. Okola, 7 of 18 passing, a little better percentage than last week so far. 74 yards through the air. Corey Kirkland, 3 catches, 54 yards, 2 for 3 for Ernest Thomas, so he's been slowed down tonight. Jacob Martin, again, 3 punts for a 44.3 average, 2 inside the 5. Leading tacklers on defense, not much here. 5 tackles for Jabril Betts. Donovan Moore with 4 tackles. Individually for McKinney, Brian Jackson was the workhorse. 14 carries, 111 yards, almost 10 a carry, 7.9. 1 touchdown with a long of 60. Nazarko, the quarterback, 2 carries, 15 yards. Nazarko was 3 out of 4 passing for 53. And then the backup, Grigosian, 5 out of 7 for 42 yards. Phil Sami, the leading receiver, 2 for 42. Washington, 2 for 25. Rhodes, 2 for 12. They punted for just a 23-yard average. Leading tackler on defense, Ryder with 3. Matthew with 3. And there are your first half stats. We're about ready to start the second half here. Ethan Herrera back with us. Very enjoyable guest there, Terry Gambill at halftime. Hope you enjoyed it on our Raising Cane's halftime show.
Coach Gambill, one of the best. This one kicked off to the goal line, touchback, and Rowlett will start their second half possession at the 25.
Our sponsors, our title sponsors, Raising Cane's Certified Foundation, C3 Church, Trophy Nissan, Belfiore Spa and Salon, North Texas Appliance, Shelley Dietrich, State Farm, Seneda's Mexican Kitchen. Their strength in numbers, join the Rowlett Chamber of Commerce today. Don't forget, you can get us at 92.1. You can hear us at TuneIn Radio and KXEZ.com. Tell the out-of-town friends and family we stream all of our broadcasts. If you can't get us at 92.1, get us at those two places on the stream.
Doubles wide receiver set. Okola out to the left side, has a man in front of him. Throws it to the sideline. Caught by Ernest Thomas at the 38-yard line and pushes across the 40. First down, Rowlett. And Ernest Thomas right out of the gate catches that one from Okola. And a first down for this Rowlett offense.
Quick 18 on first down. Again, the stats very even except rushing yards. McKinney able to control the ball a little bit better with 124 on the ground, 18 for Rowlett. Let's see if they can do a little better running here in the second half.
From the left hash mark, Okola drops back, gets out of pressure, escapes sacks at the 40-yard line, goes across the line of scrimmage, across the 45 and across midfield mark. And, man, look at James Okola go using his legs to make something happen.
That's the strength of Okola. He sets up real quickly, decent pocket. He saw nothing on his first look, and then he saw that he could run with it down the far sideline. He's not the most patient guy in the pocket. He's looking to run pretty quickly most of the time if he doesn't see his first read. But the advantage is he's got the quickness to get something out of those quick takeoffs.
Now from the left hash mark in the shotgun, trips out to the right side. Okola claps his hand, takes the snap, looks left, throws it in the flat to Devontae Crow, who has it on the run and pushes his way across the first down mark, maybe right at the first down mark. Indeed, now they are signaling first down Rowlett.
Great job by Crow there. He could have easily been stopped a yard or two short of the first down as he was hit on the swing screen to the short side of the field left. And was hit quickly by Dylan Brown, but is able to drag Brown for the first down, plus a couple of more.
11 minutes here in the third quarter, 21-9. McKinney over Rowlett from McKinney ISD Stadium. Ethan Herrera with Scott Powell. Thanks for joining us on 92.1. Trips out to the right side, left hash mark. James Acolo, shotgun, Crow to the right of him. Quarterback keeper out to the right side. Flags come flying in before the play gets going.
Looks like it could be procedure on the offense as the referee, Kerry Moore, killed the play right after it took off.
And now hats come flying in off of the official, so 2 flags on the play.
A little unusual. Usually when a hat is thrown, it's because the receiver stepped out of bounds and came back in. You don't really see it any other time.
That's a good point, Scott Powell.
But I don't think that was the case here. And I know it's going to go against Rowlett. It'll be at least 5 yards here. Again, penalties, not a big killer for the Eagles, just 5 for 45 in the first half, unlike last week where penalties killed them for about 3/4 of the game. You know what? They walked the wrong way. Now they're going to walk the other way and give Rowlett a first down.
Well, don't you mean the right way? Rowlett Eagles,
The right way, absolutely.
37-yard line of McKinney.
3 first downs on the first 4 plays of the second half. A week ago, it took them 1/4 half to get 1 first down.
Jerks to the right side, middle of the hash marks. Solo drops back, has some time, steps up, steps out of pressure, goes to the left side across the 40-yard line, across the 35, dragged down across the 30, but flags are in the backfield, and that's not a good sign for
Bring her
Rowlett.
back. When a quarterback runs around that much and is constantly cutting, that causes the offensive lineman to start reaching, and we're going to get a holding call out of this on the Rowlett offensive line. I think they might mark this from the right direction, or in Rowlett's case, the wrong direction this time.
Absolutely. And you know what? It's nice seeing Acolo jump around like that, really evading pressure.
And it literally is jumping. He's not necessarily rolling the pocket. He's jumping the pocket. That's how quick he is. It's a whole different dimension in that backfield when that pocket starts to break down. He finds the little seams to jump around into.
With Crow to the right side of Acolo, doubles wide receiver set. From the left hash mark, going left to right. 1st and 15. Rolls out to the right side and brought down hard by about 3 Lions down there. A pride of Lions knocks down Acolo for a big loss in the play.
Because of that jumping and that quick cutting ability, he's not nearly as good on those rollouts like that, where he tries to get it to the outside because it's more of a direct, straight run. He's better when he can cut in, cut out, cut in, cut out. And boy, all of a sudden it is second and a lot of distance for the first down.
Well, that distance is 24 yards. 2nd and 24.
I thought I'd sit and wait for you to come up with a computation there.
2nd and 24 from the 49 of Rowlett. Drops back, throws out to the left side. He's got Thomas who fights for the outside and gets close to the line of scrimmage. Not the original line of scrimmage, but actually he's about 4 yards short.
We've seen a lot of those patterns tonight where Mckinney is giving a good cushion. They're trying to keep everything in front of them. So they allow Thomas to go 15 yards out and then bring it back. In other words, come back to the quarterback. He's always going to have the edge in position on the DB. It's whether the pass is there or not. Acolo, have you ever seen a better example of a kid that's just getting better and better and better with every snap?
Absolutely. Acolo just getting a lot more confidence out there.
They're going to have a pretty competent backup if Boyd ever returns to the lineup, or vice versa. Boyd, of course, shaken up.
Just to the right side, throw down the seam, and juggled, but incomplete, intended for the receiver, Trey Long.
Well, Okola got away with one there. He throws it deep into double coverage. Should have been picked off by the much taller DB for McKinney, Christian Ford. And, again, I'm almost shocked it wasn't picked off. It was a fairly easy pick.
And a promising drive to start off here in the second half. I beg your pardon.
Penalties just literally killed this drive.
Exactly. It'll bring up a 4th and 14 from the McKinney 41.
Now watch for the punter here. He's had 2 punts inside the 5-yard line tonight, averaging, 49 yards a punt. The return man waiting at the 13. I would angle this one. Now he's on the far hash mark. I'd angle this one toward the near sideline and try and get a coffin corner out of this if you can.
High snap, Jacob Martin. Martin gets it away. Big kick and a flag is thrown after a fair catch by Youngblood, but Youngblood looked like he pushed off of the Michael Ibukun Okoyote who came in.
If you call it for a catch, the defender has to give him a little space to make the catch. Contact was made, but as you said, it was the return man that seemed to step up into the defender and push off. So let's see if they get this right or whether they call it on Rowlett and get it wrong. Very unusual, by the way. Usually the defender does causes all the chaos on the play. And they're going to mark this against Rowlett, and I think it's a ridiculous call.
So Youngblood was under the ball, called for the fair catch. Okoyote came up to him, but was
stopped.
Yes, stopped, and then Youngblood put his arm out and kind of stiff-armed Okoyote before he caught the ball, and a flag was thrown. Therefore, 15 yards go.
Now, in defense of the official, maybe they said that he didn't give him a big enough cushion to begin with. That's the possible call on that.
Quarterback keeper by Grogriasian, and he crosses the 25-yard line down to the 30. It was a read play, and up to the 31, making it second and short for McKinney.
You've got to give him a certain amount of space to begin with, and maybe he didn't give him enough to start with, although the other guy caused the contact.
Here it goes in, and this went off to Jackson, and Jackson bottled up. There's that front four again for Rowlett, really showing what they could do. Going to bring up third, and 2 on the play.
Great chance here to give it to Jackson on some kind of a power handoff and let him use that 226-1 frame to get your 2 yards, but they already stopped him on the second down play.
Throw out to the left side, incomplete. The intended receiver, Dylan Rhodes. They looked like they were throwing in a flat and a little screen for him, but it'll bring up 4th and 2.
And here's my point. You say, well, they just stopped him on 2nd and 2 for no gain. Well, you're really going to stop that big running back Jackson 2 times in a row?
Absolutely
I seriously doubt it. I would have run the same play again and probably got the first down.
Coach Shavers thought about going for it, had his offense down the field for a little bit. Now the punt unit will come out. And boy, these punters, aside from about one punt, have been fantastic all game long. 21-9, 7:40 here in the third quarter of play. McKinney leads Rowlett. Watkins to punt for McKinney. Good snap, punts away, end over end punt. Fielded at the 35, danced around by Brock, and Brock brought down just shy of the 40-yard line, and Rowlett will take over at the 39.
Pretty good coverage, not a deep punt, and it didn't have a lot of hang time, just a 34-yard punt. You would think it was much more returnable than that, so give all the credit to the coverage men downfield.
21-9, 7.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. McKinney over Rowlett, 0-2 Rowlett.
Go see the friendly folks at North Texas Appliance in Rockwell. Don't forget about those scratch and dent appliances. Sometimes they're hard to find, but the scratches and dents can be purchased at reduced prices. First quality appliances, also at good prices. North Texas Appliance, Rockwell, 1535 East Side 30.
A Colo play action, and the shotgun fires across the middle and picked off by McKinney. At the 35, 45-yard line, versus their field in Youngblood, who is the defensive back who stepped up and made that possession, or interception, I beg your pardon, gets down. That's the 45 in Rowlett territory, down around the 42. Kind of forced that one in there was a Colo, and right to make the play was Damon Youngblood, a 5'11", 180-pound senior.
Remember, as I mentioned, he's lucky he didn't get one picked off on the previous possession. He's got to learn when not to force it into double coverage.
Well, right now, it's kind of, yes, he's got to learn that way, but it's confidence that he's growing, that he's getting to make those, thinking he can make those kind of throws. Strips to the right side, Gregosian throws it out to Jackson, who's in the flat, makes a man miss, past the 35-yard line, flags come flying in, 20, 10, 5, beats everybody, and Jackson is in for the touchdown for McKinney for the time being. But there are multiple flags all over the field.
Rowlett coaches on the sideline waving, bring it back, bring it back. So I think it's going to be some kind of a legal block against McKinney.
Jackson showed his speed. I mean, Brian Jackson, at 6'1", 210, has got some burners on him.
And it is holding against the Lions. He looks like the complete deal. He looks like he might be playing on some weekends.
Absolutely. He's not being scouted. I mean, I don't know what's wrong with these coaches and recruiters around here in North Texas, at least. He could be playing on, like you said, on Saturdays.
He's not the fastest guy in the world, but he's not slow either, and he is a big kid, and he runs with a lot of power.
And he's got great vision. First and 14 from the 47-yard line of Rowlett. Gregosian steps back in the pocket, throws it, fires, and incomplete, intended for the receiver, Dylan Rhodes. The junior went down the seam, and a lot of pressure coming from that front four again from Rowlett.
You may wonder why it was always uncomfortable. First and 14. Well, it was a spot foul. They started marking it off a little bit downfield. So even though it was a 10-yard walk-off, it was a second and 14 or first and 14, now second and 14.
From the right hash mark, going right to left. Second and 14 from the 47-yard line, 21-9 to score. Hand off to Jackson, make it Sheldon King across the 45-yard line, and down he goes to the 44. Gets back toward the original line of scrimmage, just a yard shy of that. He'll bring up 3rd and 11 with 6:45 and counting here in the third quarter of play.
With a 12-point lead, very probably 4-down territory, although we've seen a lot of punts tonight from this position on the field.
So back into the ball game. Two receivers to the right side. Left hash mark. Play action. Gregosian goes to the left side. Fires. Wide open man. That caught at the 33 across the 25 and down at the 24-yard line. There he was, Dylan Rhodes.
Well, they had two receivers on the near side over here. One long on the deep flag, the other one on a short flag. And all of a sudden, we've got a Rowlett player who has collapsed, and it's your classic pull. Or what is it? Cramp. That's the word I'm looking for. As he just all of a sudden collapses, and all of a sudden, 5 seconds later, he's up and walking off. That's got cramp written all over it.
Well, I don't know. Those officials are kind of getting together. Mckinney was ready to snap the ball, and they're moving quickly. Rowlett was trying to get a substitution in, and
Coach Shaver is not happy with it as he's yelling at the referee, the head coach of the Lions. Going to put it down to 24, 1st and 10.
1st and 10, 6:10 on the clock. It's counting. 21-9, McKinney Lions over the Rowlett Eagles. The Eagles trying to stop them from getting in the red zone and doing what they do best, run that football inside that 20. 6 minutes on the clock. Trips to the left side. Two receivers to the left side. One lone to the right side. Split back in motion. Right to left. Now he's out to the right side. Shotgun. Gregosian fires out and caught at the 25-yard line and down to 10-5. Touchdown, McKinney. It was a man in motion, Jeffrey Pearson, the 6-foot, 200-pound tight end, caught the ball in the flat and then had open space after a missed tackle at the line of scrimmage and a touchdown and 6 points for McKinney.
Well, when you flood the field with receivers on that side, you've got one-on-one coverage all the way across. If the ball is caught, you've got to have the one-on-one tackle in the open field, and Rowlett did not get that from Emmanuel Evans. He just shrugged him off, and it was off to the races. Good speed. Nobody had a chance. Help from the safety wouldn't have done any good.
Luke Watkins on for his 4th time for the extra point try. Kick is up, and it is plenty good, like it's been all night long for Watkins. 5:42 on the clock, 28-9. Rowlett trails the McKinney Lions from McKinney ISD on 92.1 FM KXEZ.
The Natives Mexican Kitchen, the perfect place for some of the best Mexican cuisine you'll find in Rowlett. Going on Taco Tuesdays, the tacos are just 99 cents. Any day, you can have the happy hour from 4 to 7. They're at 6501 Dow Rock in Rowlett. Come and check out the Natives Mexican Kitchen. And don't forget, we're your home for Texas A&M football and men's basketball. 5th-ranked Aggies head to Empower Field in Denver, where they'll play the Colorado Buffaloes tomorrow. Pre-game coverage here on 92.1 at 2:30. Kickoff at 3:30. Full coverage, 92.1 FM, KXEZ.
Watkins kicks this one away into the end zone. Touchback, and Watkins has a nice leg. 5:42 on the clock in the third quarter. 28-9. McKinney Lions over your Rowlett Eagles. This is the home of Rowlett Eagles football. Ethan Herrera with Scott Powell. Thanks for joining us on 92.1 FM.
And don't forget, we're also your home for Caddo Mills. We have 5 regular season games. We'll do the second one next Friday night, 7:30 kickoff, 7:15 pregame. Ethan and I will have that one for you as they take on Life School of Waxahachie. And also, we've got every Rowlett game, including next Thursday, the home opener, the district opener, South Garland. 7 o'clock kickoff, pregame at 6:45 with the coaches show right here on 92.1 FM KXEZ.
Okola takes the snap and a spread offense, throws it down the right side of the field, a jump ball, and the flag comes flying in. The intended receiver was Corey Kirkling, who's had a couple of nice, brilliant catches on that right sideline. This time a flag comes flying in and maybe pass interference on the defense. And yes, it looks like that is the signal.
So decline it. Take the ball. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or you take the 15 yards.
Take the 15.
Again, spot foul in the NFL, high school, and college is just a 15-yard walk-off. So you can do whatever you want to the receiver way downfield knowing that it's only going to be a 15-yard penalty. Don't understand it, never have, never will.
Well, that's what the coaches teach those DBs. If the guy's running past, you just grab him.
I think that's one rule that ought to be the same at all three levels.
Trip to the left side, Yarborough to the left. To James Okolo. Roll it out to the left side. The far side, Okolo turns his shoulders, fires to the middle. He's got a man at the 45-yard line and across the 40. My goodness, what a throw. And there's Trey Long across the middle, and Okolo looking good back there.
Wow. I didn't think he could make that play a week ago. I'm not sure he could make that play a week ago. Right-handed quarterback rolling to his left, throws all the way back across the field from the far left sideline all the way across to the right hash mark, and he throws a strike for the first down.
Doubles wide receiver set from the middle of the field. Hand off to Colton Yarborough up the middle. Got some space. 35, past the 30. Brought down right at the 29-yard line. They get to 28. And it'll be second and short. Yarborough hasn't had a lot of touches and carries in this ball game. Gets a little bit of space right there.
Just a quick hitter, quick pullback dive. They spread the field and get the initial blocks over the right side of the line. You know, they haven't run it much tonight because they really haven't run it well. Kind of like Ezekiel Elliott last night. He got about 5 carries. And when he got it, he didn't get much out of it.
Absolutely. That lost me some fantasy points last night, actually. 2 receivers on the side of the formation. Okolo drops back, looks left, goes out of the pocket, stops, now steps up, goes to the right side, is chased down from behind. Evaded pressure for as long as possible and finally brought down by one of those Lions down there.
I think it's the first time he has been sacked all night without getting rid of the football. He's so good at reversing his field, moving the pocket, and finally, I think, again, for the first time, he was tackled from behind the line of scrimmage.
That was the quick sophomore, Mekhi Frazier, coming in to make that sack and bringing up 3rd and 7 from the 33 of Mckinney.
Better hurry here. We're down to 10 on the play clock, and they're just coming in from the sideline. They may have to take a timeout here to keep it at 3rd and 7. We're down to 4, down to 3. Hope the Rowlett staff has noticed it, gets the timeout. Good recognition from the sideline. Actually, that was the coach's fault for getting the play in too late.
Well, Okolo looked and saw it right at the last second, pointed up there, and finally they called timeout.
Oh, we keep it right here and mention our Eagles sponsors of the night. Whataburger, Ultimate Driving School, Super Shack Seafood Grill, Sign Guy DFW, Rowlett Food, Richardson Methodist Medical Center, the Musgrove Agency, Jersey Mike's Subs, Jason's Deli, First Baptist Church of Rowlett, Chiloso's Mexican Bistro, Chick-fil-A, and Advantage Storage. Thanks to those Eagles sponsors. And again, just remind you, if you can't get us to 92.1, tell those out-of-town folks every game is streamed at TuneIn Radio and KXEZ.com. If you cannot get us at 92.1, we'd love to have you as a sponsor. Write down this number, 972-251-0725. It's a great way to reach your customers. We'd love to have you as a sponsor. Very affordable. Just give us a call. Again, 972-251-0725, 92.1 KXEZ, 95.3 KHYI The Range. Deeply rooted and invested in North Texas. We thank you for listening, and we thank you for your support.
Snap to Okolo, play action, trips to the left side, fires toward the middle of the field, and picked off. Picked off once again. Damon Youngblood with his second interception of the night. There was a man in the area. It was Ernest Thomas, but slightly underthrown. And actually a beautiful play by Damon Youngblood to kind of slide into that catch, and he gets an interception in the turnover and takeaway for the McKinney Lions. 28-9, 3:33 in the third quarter. And another turnover for the young offense of this Rowlett Eagles team.
It's just amazing. We're sitting here and we're impressed with the Rowlett performance. They're trailing 28-9. They were down 2 touchdowns early, and yet this is such an improvement over losing 61-7 a week ago.
Here it goes in, hands this one off to Brian Jackson, who just cannot be brought down without the help of multiple Eagles. Then he gets a gain of about 3 on the play, bringing up, actually it'll be a gain of 4, 2nd and 6.
In other words, this looks a little bit closer to the team that almost beat Waxahachie in week 1 before losing 28-22. They got to feel much better going into district play next week.
To the right side, they throw this one out to the left side, and big time hit. I believe that was onto him.
And by the way, might I say, this game is not over. We still got a little under 3 minutes left in the third quarter, and they're down by 19. It's not like it's not doable tonight. And a stop here and forcing a punt deep in Mckinney territory would be a good jump start to a comeback.
Well, it is 3rd and 8 from the 13-yard line. Here it goes in, drops back. Here comes the rush, screen pass, incomplete. And a flag comes flying in. Indeed, that'll be pass interference, it looked like.
Yeah, the reason the pass wasn't complete in my mind is because the receiver waiting for the screen pass was tackled before the ball gets there. You rarely see that on an attempted screen where the guy is tackled before the ball arrives. That's how well Marvell Babika, I believe I got that right. That's how well he read it. Please take over on this.
I got you. It's Marvel Ogbabiaka.
Oh, my gosh. That was beautiful. You know what? That was so beautiful. I want to hear you say it another time.
Marvel Ogbabiaka. I practiced that.
I just want to make sure it wasn't a fluke. And you guessed and got it right.
Absolutely no. Actually, they picked the flag up. It's 4th and 8. Punt team on for McKinney. The deep men are Brock and Ernest Thomas.
You know, low kick, if they can get it, they could use a good return here. And it's end over end and short.
Caught by Brock, and he dropped it. Ball on the ground. Brock tries to get back on it. The Lions dive at midfield, and
wow.
Rowlett football. There's the referee.
Almost had it twice. They lost it twice, and eventually fell on it the third try. Rowlett's had a little bit of luck tonight, too. You know, how many penalties have been picked up that we thought were going to be against Rowlett?
It's one of those things that Joseph Brock tried to move before he caught the ball, got his eyes downfield before the ball was in his possession. That's something that sophomores got to learn to control, but he's been doing great all season long, the first 3 games.
Now, this is not a defense, but it was an end-over-end kick. Those are a little bit harder, but with the proper technique, and they work on it in practice every week, it's a very catchable ball if you know what you're doing. I wouldn't know what I'm doing.
From the left hash mark, they hand it off to Yarborough, who dances around across midfield, gains a yard on the play. 2:10 and counting, 28-9. McKinney Lions over the Rowlett Eagles. Third quarter here from McKinney ISD Stadium. And last time I checked, temperatures have cooled off to a mild 81 degrees.
Yeah, with no humidity, it is dropping faster the last few nights.
Hand off to Yarborough, who makes a man miss in the backfield across the 49. Gains another couple yards on the play. It'll be 3rd and 7.
Yeah, he ran about 7 to get about 2 because he was trying to cut it to the other side of the field and got cut down on the way toward the near sideline.
Yarborough just 3 rushing attempts in the first quarter.
You can almost
3 right here in the last 2 drives.
You can almost throw out the down. It says 3rd down, but I guarantee you this is 4-down territory when you're down by 19 points late third quarter.
1:15 in the third. 28-9 to score. Rowlett trails McKinney. Macola, left side, turns his shoulders, fires the middle, in and out of the hands of McGallion. It looked like it was Xander McGallion on the other end of that, and indeed it was. It'll bring up 4th.
They executed everything well except the pass. He rolls to his left, a tough pass for a right-handed quarterback, but he gets the block at the last minute from Yarborough, or he would have been sacked in the first place. Was able to get off a decent throw, but is a little bit high to the open receiver. And I really expect him to go for this on 4th and 7.
We saw a lot of quick kicks last week. A solo from the right hash mark in a shotgun. It looks like they'll go for it for now. 4th and 7.
There's no reason not to go for this.
Trips on the left side. A solo rolls out to the left. He's got Yarborough in front of him to block. Stops, reverses his field, tucks it and runs. Across the 45, across the 40. He's got the first down. 45 into McKinney territory, and a nice play by James Okolo gets the first down for Rowlett on fourth.
Okolo looked like he was kind of mouthing off over here on the McKinney side. The worst place you can mouth off on the other team's sideline because you're outnumbered about 40-1 over here.
Absolutely.
The officials did a great job of grabbing him. One of the guys grabbed him and threw him back toward the field and said, "Come on, get out of here. Don't start anything." I love to see that.
That's a good teammate right there.
You also don't want to lose your quarterback to mouthing off.
52 seconds, 28-9, McKinney over Rowlett. Trey Long in motion across the formation, trips to the left side, flag comes flying in.
I think we got procedure, the right end, right tackle for Rowlett. Kind of came out of his stance, it looked like. I would expect this to be 5 yards on the white uniform. See, I'm not completely blind, just mostly.
I tell you what, you say that quite a bit, but you're about 95%, if not more.
I'm 61 years old. I'm twice your age. I've seen that penalty many more times than you have. I almost know what it is without even seeing the flag. You know what I mean?
Trips to the left side, right hash mark. Okolo in the flat to Yarborough. Across the 40 on the run. A big-time hit right across the sideline. And Yarborough pops up, ready to go.
A great example. You don't have to see holding to know it's holding. It's all based on when the flag is thrown and where the flag is thrown. Holding is one of the most obvious, non-obvious penalties there is because we rarely see the hold, and yet we always know it's holding.
You're right. Back to the original line of scrimmage. That's the 35-yard line, going left to right from the right hash mark. Trips to the left side, and the shotgun is Okolo to the left of him is Yarborough. He drops back, steps up in the pocket, fires to the right side, and just out of the reach. He had a wide open man. Well, he had a step on him, and that was Corey Kirkling. He had a man open and just threw it over his fingertips.
Corey had a step on the double coverage. They were behind him. It took a perfect throw to hit him in stride, and he just did not get enough air under it. There was a little bit too much of a line drive, and, boy, that would have been a quick 6. And all of a sudden, McKinney be sweating this one out a little bit.
Well, it was a nice read. It was good to see Okolo seeing that wide open receiver. This time he's got to hit it.
Let's give credit to the offensive line. They formed a nice little pocket for Okolo to plant the back foot and step into the throw.
10 seconds in the third quarter, 28-9. Okolo drops back, has some time, rolls to the left side, points out to the right side, directs traffic, and pushed down and tripped up behind the line of scrimmage. The clock rolls, and that will be the last play of the third quarter. It'll be a 4th down and 11 when we come back. 28-9, McKinney Lions of the Rowlett Eagles heading to the final frame, the fourth quarter on 92.1 FM KXEZ.
This is the Possum, 92.1 KXEZ, Farmersville, Dallas, and KXEZ.com.
Okolo on the roll on 4th and 11. He's going to be buried for a sack, and the Rowlett possession will end on 4th down. McKinney will take over to start the fourth quarter. Just never had a chance to throw that football.
And with that, McKinney will take over at the 43-yard line.
You know, give the McKinney defense credit here in the second half. They've done a better job than they did in the first half. And Rowlett's had some pretty good field position. Actually, Rowlett's won the field position battle all night long. They just hadn't been able to do as much with it as McKinney has.
28-9 the score.
Another complete reversal from last week, by the way.
Right. McKinney will take over. Bunt set, except 1-1 receiver to the left side. Rea goes in, steps up, sweep off to the left side, jet sweep to his side-in receiver, and will go nowhere. Get back to the line of scrimmage, it looks like, and a big-time play by this Rowlett defense on the first play from the fourth quarter from this offense of McKinney. Griagosian comes in, essentially the third quarterback coming into the season. A big hit last week.
Just when you're nearing district play and you kind of want to settle on your quarterback and your offense, they're using their third one tonight.
Griagosian in the shotgun, left hash mark, play action. Pocket collapses, go to the right side, the far side, and well over his intended receiver, Xavier Filisami. That'll bring up third. I'd say that Griagosian wasn't a starter. It was a sophomore. The sophomore. I lost his name for a second. And, well, he started out as Trevor Ham and then was replaced last week by Samson Nazarko. Nazarko got hurt this game, seemingly, and now Griegosian comes in on 3rd down and 10.
Wouldn't you love to be the 4th-string quarterback on this team?
Absolutely. The throw out to the right side in a flat, 50-yard line, 45. They've got the first down, but the ball comes out. Rowlett picks it up, and they've got it at the 25-yard line. Across the 30 and down they go. A flag comes flying in after the play, and a big-time recovery. That was Joseph Brock, who picked it up and ran with it for McKinney.
We've got
Jeffrey Pearson caught the flat and then fumbled it as he got the first down and plus some, and there's a down Rowlett Eagle at the 30-yard line.
We also had an injured quarterback back at the 30, but I think he just got a cramp, and he ran off the field.
The Eagle down was Joseph Brock, the sophomore, who just recovered the fumble, gets back up, jogs off under his own power, and our Rowlett takeaway.
The penalty against Rowlett, though, they're going to start from their 17. A little illegal block on the fumble return there, it appeared.
Rowlett, with a minute off the clock here in the 4th quarter, will take possession down by 11.
Title sponsors, here are some of them: Raising Cane, Certified Foundation, C3 Church, Trophy Nissan, Belfiore Spa and Salon, North Texas Appliance, Shelley Dietrich State Farm, Soneda's Mexican Kitchen. Their strength in numbers join the Rowlett Chamber of Commerce today.
Okola in the shotgun, trips the right side, sweeps out to Yarbrough, and he goes nowhere, met well behind the line of scrimmage. It was a big number of 34, Cam Morrow, the 6', 210 junior. You know, I said they're down by 11. My math is completely off, 28 to 9. It's a 19-point deficit.
I didn't want to say anything and make you feel, insecure or not nearly as superior as I am in the world of math.
Well, it's funny.
One thing I'm definitely better than anybody else at is math. That's about all I have. Anybody else.
I will give you that. And it's funny. I went to college for finance, and look how that paid off. From the right hash.
Yeah, if you're in the world of finance, the stupidest move you can make is going to sports.
Right. Right hash.
Unless you're a player, of course.
Colton Yarbrough has it, sweeps to the right side, cuts it up the field, gets back toward the original line of scrimmage, a yard short of that, bringing up 3rd and 11 from the 16-yard line.
Having seen your stats in baseball, I think you made the wise move within the sports world.
Oh, you don't want to know about my college stats in baseball. It was.
Oh, yes, I did.
That inning in the 3rd really does something to you. Inning in the 3rd of play and those 2 at bats. Hey, I walked twice. That's an on-base percentage of 1,000 right there.
Jeff Bannister was 1 for 1 as a major league hitter.
Beautiful, beautiful story.
Oh, I can't wait for more. We're low on time, though.
2 receivers on either side of the formation. Okola drops back, had a man wide open and missed him. It was the number 88 who we don't have. Yes, we do. It's Timmy Grabnaru, who we haven't seen at all this game. His first target of the game. Incomplete, 4th and 11, and Rowlett will have to punt away.
Not sure he would have gotten the first down anyway, but boy, Okola, he's going to learn to take something off those passes. I mean, thank God he didn't hit him near the face mask. He might have taken his head off. That ball was way too hard thrown, and even if he was on target, I'm not sure you could have caught it.
Well, I tell you what, I've liked what I've seen from James Okola.
Oh, absolutely. I don't mean to badmouth.
No.
The improvement one week to the next is incredible. The whole team, it's incredible, really.
Speaking of improvement, Jacob Martin just hit a bomb across the 50-yard line on the punt down to the 47.
Folks, it's 28-9. Rowlett's trailing tonight. It feels like it's 28-20 almost. While last week was 61-7 playing on it, felt like about 161-7. The improvement from one week to the next for this whole team is unbelievable, especially at the quarterback position. And remember, they got a starter who's got a shoulder injury, who hopefully will be back next week. The same guy who threw for 300 yards in week 1. They're hoping he'll be back for South Garland next week.
370 yards from Harris Boyd in week 1.
I'll give you the exact number in a second.
Up to the right side is Jackson, who's bottled up at the line of scrimmage. No gain.
365.
There you go.
Let's not cheat him any.
That's right. And Boyd, who is out, got hurt last game with a collarbone injury, is the report. And
they're hoping he'll be back by not playing him tonight.
Right? Exactly.
They tried to play him last week. He lasted a series and came out for the rest of the game.
And off to Jackson. Brian Jackson off the tackle, half in space across the 50-yard line. across the 40, has his pace, finally tripped up across the 35 and across the 30 at the 29-yard line.
I have a former play-by-play partner I worked with by the name of Derek Johnson. You may know it through the Garland ISD games we used to do. He calls that the turf monster. Look how he tripped over his own feet.
Indeed. Left hash mark in the shotgun. Griegosian hands it off to Jackson one more time across the 30, and Jackson this time bottled up for a gain of 2, but man, it is hard to bring down that big running back from McKinney.
Sometimes you just stand him up and don't bring him down.
Absolutely. Now Sheldon King will come into the game, give Jackson a little bit of a rest, and King has done some good work out of that second running back spot all game long. It's 2nd and 8 from the 27-yard line of Rowlett.
Don't forget that district opener, another road game officially, but against South Garland, 7 o'clock kickoff next Thursday right here on 92.1. Pregame at 6:45.
Griegosian hands it off to King, and King's blown up in the backfield, and this front four have been amazing all game long. Michael Ibuku no Coyote.
And the good news is, we really haven't mentioned Michael's name much tonight. That's about the only name we mentioned a week ago. It seemed like he was the only one making tackles. It's been more of a group effort tonight, and that's good to see.
Well, we talked about in the pregame interview with Derek Alford, he talked about those two guys, Ja'Cory Brown and O'Coyote, and that right now they've been doing a lot of work on the outside. Griegosian fires to the far side, caught at the 30-yard line, and finally, keeps going and dragged down to the 21-yard line. Xavier Sosami made the catch at the 21.
Great job by the DBs on this side. The blocks were engaged by the McKinney receivers, so that could have gone for big yardage, but a couple of those defenders broke loose from the blocks and ended up making the tackle and kept him 2 yards short of the first down, forcing a fourth down. You can take on the block, but how good are you at shedding the block? And they did a great job of it right there.
4th and 2 from the 21-yard line. The big Jordan Bradford in the game for Rowlett. Hands off to Jackson up the middle, and he's got the first down. Pushes ahead to the 15-yard line. Make it the 14. And Jackson, again, you just can't stop him. As well as his front four has played, they have not been able to control Jackson. I'll be honest, I feel like there's not a lot of defensive lines that can control that running back.
Well, it's got to be gang tackling. You saw right there, while he did a great job, Donovan Moore, he's still hard to stop him in his tracks.
Jackson again to the left side off the left tackle, finds the hole, and now pushes the pile again across the 10 to the 9. And, man, I love watching that kid run the football.
I'd like to see him behind a truck pushing.
Absolutely.
Man, if I run out of gas, that's the guy I want pushing.
Again, folks, this Brian Jackson, only a sophomore.
Wait till he learns to lean over further.
A sophomore at 6'1", 210. I mean, he's just getting started, folks.
He's a lot of an upright runner. Wait till he learns that body lean, how much more he'll get in the future.
Bunt on the right side. Man in motion across. Flags come flying in before the snap. False start on the McKinney Lions.
North Texas Appliance, go see those friendly folks. They're 1535 East Side 30 South Service Road. They're about a mile from the Rockwall Football Stadium. You can call 972-771-0393 or go by. Longtime sponsor of high school athletics here on 92.1 FM KXEZ.
That is Wilkerson Sanders Stadium in Rockwall, Texas.
Some of our other sponsors tonight, Lakeview Car Wash, Golden Rule Auto Care, Advantage Storage, and the Rowlett Eagle Football Booster Club. Thanks to those sponsors tonight.
Griegosian hands this one off to Jackson. Dances around across the 15-yard line, now across the 10, breaks a couple of tackles, and then a flock of Eagles finally bring them down around the 6-yard line, and it'll bring up third and very short.
Love those flocks.
The Eagles, like we said, have improved from week 2 to week 3, and we can't wait for what we can see in week 4. Left hash mark. Jackson again, up the middle, pushes, rolls around, and this time going nowhere. Line of scrimmage he gets back to.
Good job.
4th and 2.
Good job, McKinney, to take the football. They've got a 19-point lead and just kill this clock. This drive started at 9:08 in the 4th from the 48. Now we're at 4:45 and counting at the Rowlett 6. This is exactly what you want when you're up by 19 points and you just want to kill the clock and kill the other team.
The clock's going to be under 4.5 minutes to go.
Looks like they may be working. sorry, Ethan. It looks like they're trying to work that play clock and take a timeout here.
Absolutely.
And come up with a good play call from the sideline on fourth down, as they're going to let it go under 5 here, and there's your timeout. Barely in time. I guess it was 1 second when he took it.
4 minutes, 18 seconds to go in this game at McKinney ISD Stadium.
Eagles sponsors tonight Advantage Storage, Chick-fil-A, Chiloto's Mexican Bistro, as well as First Baptist Church Rowlett, Jason's Deli, Jersey Mike Sub, the Musgrove Agency, Richardson Methodist Medical Center, Rowlett Food, Sign Guy DFW, Super Shack Seafood Grill, Ultimate Driving School, and Whataburger. Thanks to our Eagles sponsors. Remember, A&M football tomorrow, 3:30 kickoff, 2:30 pregame. We are your North Texas home for the Aggies as they will take on Colorado. Again, pregame at 2:30 here on KXEZ.
Well, you know it's fall here in Texas. It's beginning to be fall because it is under 80 degrees right now, 79 in McKinney, Texas. It looks like we've got some clouds coming in. Looking at the weather, Scott, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, a little 60, 50% chance of rain.
It's been a while since it was 79 degrees at this hour.
Absolutely. Yeah, we keep the weather here for you out there, folks, if you're listening in North Texas.
Oh, yeah.
4:18 in the game left. 28-9, McKinney Lions over the Rowlett Eagles. Left hash mark, Griegosian. Jackson once again up the middle to the right side. He cuts it. And inside the 5-yard line, a little extracurricular, but no flag. Close to the first down mark, and are they going to give it to him? No, he didn't get it. That fourth down run by Brian Jackson did not pick up 2 yards. Rather, he got 1. And Rowlett will take over at the 5-yard line, 95 yards to go. 4:13 left, down by 19 points. There's McKinney ISD team, McKinney Lions. And you know, Scott, we talked about it all night long. The improvement from this team has been, it's just astounding. I mean, can you think about what's going to happen once district play in terms of everything coming together defensively, offensively?
And your starting quarterback coming back from injury, hopefully next week. You know, again, you might think we're crazy. Rowlett's trailing 28-9, late fourth quarter. I mean, you're probably wondering what we're watching. Well, problem is, it's what we watched last week. They not only got beat 61-7 by Plano, it seemed like 161-7. So that's why 28-9 is a huge improvement. I don't just mean the scoreboard. If you were at that game and you're at tonight's game, you will have seen the difference. They were not even close to being competitive last week.
It was a botched fielding a kick return in the first quarter after the first drive from McKinney. Then McKinney took the ball and took over, and that is kind of what started the scoring.
I felt tonight was a case of, will the real Rowlett Eagles stand up tonight? Well, I think they stood up for the first time since week 1 when they almost beat Waxahachie, losing 28-22. Why don't we take a quick 30-second timeout here on 92.1 FM, KXEZ.
Golo takes the snap, goes to the right side, a quarterback keeper across the line of scrimmage and down to the 10-yard line, a 5-yard gain on first down. 6-yard gain, actually, will bring up 2nd and 4. I'd like to give a quick shout-out to the crew over here, the staff at this McKinney ISD Stadium. They've been so amazing in helping us out and being so inviting, and the hospitality is unmatched.
Folks, we go to a lot of stadiums. In 60 years, well, maybe 40 years, I've been doing this 40 years. I've been to a lot of high school stadiums. This is the nicest staff I've ever dealt with. And we don't say this every week, by the way. There's some weeks that we're not happy with the way we're treated. They are so attentive here. We can't walk 5 steps without somebody asking us if we're lost and do we need anything. It is incredible.
Yes, big time thanks to the McKinney ISD staff at the stadium here.
And this isn't a one-time thing. We were here last year and had the same comment.
Absolutely.
And there's some places that treat you really well, but it's just quite different here in McKinney for some reason.
Approaching 3 minutes to go, Devontae Crow with a nice first down run for Rowlett. 2 receivers to the right side. Nicolo drops back, looks right, fires right. Crow out of the backfield, caught at the 20-yard line, and a 2-yard gain on that pass. And that little running back out to the right side, and Okolo has a nice game to the 21-yard line. 2nd and 7 from that 21. 2:30 and counting left in this one. 28-9, Mckinney over Rowlett. Looking more and more like it's going to be 0-3 for the Rowlett Eagles at the end of this one, but man, the improvement has been amazing. Okolo hands off to Crow, who bounces around, trips up near the line of scrimmage, and gains a yard on the play, bringing up 3rd and 6.
You know, it hasn't been an offense that's put up 400 or 500 yards tonight. It's the cut down on mistakes, the much less penalties. I can't remember any more than maybe one turnover all night long. The kicking game, as Coach Gambill said at halftime, might be the biggest improvement that's happened this week.
Well, we've seen a couple of interceptions thrown by James Okolo, but it's like you want him to try to make those kind of throws.
Kind of forced it into double coverage, yeah.
You want him to get that confidence to throw the ball. He looks so much better and more comfortable this week than he did last week.
Those are not ugly mistakes. Those are aggressive mistakes.
And that's what you want to see in this Rowlett team.
Everything about last week was ugly, including the mistakes.
And even in the pregame interview with Coach Derek Alford, he talked about how there's not, the playoff implications don't start until district. And this was a game where they're going to try to learn and try to get their offense and their defense ready to go for that district play next week.
But what's the thing they needed more than learning? They needed some confidence.
Exactly.
You know, you don't only have coaches questioning players last week. You probably had players questioning coaches. It's a brand new staff. If you're a player, you're probably saying, who are these guys they brought in to coaches? You know, you're starting to doubt everything.
From the right hash mark, two receivers on the right side. 3rd and 6, play action. Okolo throws it across the seam, and for the 3rd time tonight is intercepted by Damon Youngblood, who takes it across the 25, caught it at the 45, jumps to the end zone, and inside the pylon, touchdown, Mckinney. The 3rd interception of the game for Damon Youngblood, who had 5 interceptions last season that led the McKinney Lions.
And again, Okolo trying to make something happen down by 19, throwing it deep down the middle into coverage.
Exactly.
An easy pick. And I tell you what, they did a heck of a job of blocking on the return, too. They made it look really easy. Now, there is a penalty marker at the 3-yard line. Something tells me this is post-game celebration, possibly.
Something like that. I'd probably take that bet.
Just by the way McKinney has reacted. You know, that this could be, you know, the way they're huddling up over here on the McKinney sideline, they might take away this touchdown. Let's see what the penalty is. No, it's after the touchdown, so it counts. Dead ball. Little cess on the kickoff, it looks like.
So a pick 6 for Damon Youngblood with his 3rd interception of the game. Caught it at the 35-yard line, maybe the 40, and then ran it all the way back. Had some good blocking. Dove for that front pylon and got it.
I was going to say something earlier. South Garland is technically a road game. How many teams do you know that their first 4 games of the year are on the road? I mean, it's pretty unusual.
It's crazy. We talked to Coach Derek Alford.
What is the reason? Yeah. Or you want to talk about it when we come back from the break?
We'll talk about it when we come back. I think that would be best. But I say that, and then here we go right now, ready for the extra point.
I'm thinking of some kind of scheduling quirk or there's some kind of interesting story involved with this. I'm just guessing.
Luke Watkins on for his 5th extra point try. This one goes up right through the upright and is good. 35-9, 147, 4th quarter. McKinney over the Rowlett Eagles on 92.1 FM KXEZ. 92.1 FM KXEZ. 35-9 the score. McKinney over Rowlett. It was a pick 6 that brought 6 more points, 7 more points really on the board for McKinney. So you talked about earlier how the scheduling worked 4 away games to start. Well, what happened was when Doug Stevens left Rowlett, it was right in the middle of scheduling and the district coming together and trying to make a schedule as well. Rowlett fell because Coach Stevens was gone, and they didn't really have a head coach to make those decisions. And so they could weigh
take whatever games you can.
Exactly. So the district made Rowlett have 4 home games this season.
You know, I haven't talked to Doug. Something tells me he kind of resigned later than most. He retired.
Exactly.
But it sounds like he kind of did it at a time that was kind of later than you'd prefer.
Jose Labrera has it at the 20-yard line, across the 30, across the 35, and has some space across the 40 down at the 45-yard line.
You know who we might, let's talk to Coach McCrone. Maybe I can make it happen, but let's see if we can get Doug Stevens on with us at halftime.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome to talk to Coach Doug Stevens.
I have his cell number. I don't have many coaches' cell numbers, but Doug and I were fairly close, and I could call him any time of the day and feel like he wasn't going to be mad that I called.
You know what? I talked to a lot of people around the Garland ISD who have known you when you called Garland ISD games. Obviously, I wasn't here, but they have nothing but good things to say about you, Scott. You know what?
Thank you. I did some TV, too, though.
Yeah, I know. I heard that. But it's just we've been KXEZ, they said, has been a part of Garland ISD for a long time.
And it's good to be a part again.
Absolutely. 40-yard line now for Rowlett.
Red Barons at Saxby, one of my favorites. Doug and Red were my 2 favorites.
Penalty after that return puts them on the 40-yard line.
New quarterback.
And off the left side, bounces out across the 40 and down to the 36-yard line.
Cordell Lee handed that off.
Devontae Crow on the run.
Cordell Lee, he's gone to the sideline to get the next play. He's listed as a running back. Something tells me he was a running back until the injury. Penalty against Rowlett.
Looking for his name, Scott. I can't find him on my roster.
Oh, I got Cordell Lee, number 35.
I have Andrew Ellison as 35. Weird.
Interesting. Well, mine's a little older than yours, so I might trust yours over mine. Is he listed as a quarterback?
Yes, he is.
Well, then I think I'd go with Andrew Ellison, wouldn't you?
Ellison hands this one to Crow to the left side and around the numbers to the 40, inside the 45 to the 42.
Trust me, folks, I do have Cordell Lee, number 35, but my roster's 2 weeks old. Yours is fresh, right?
I think so, yes, sir.
I'll go with yours.
50 seconds to go. 35-9 the score. McKinney over Rowlett. McKinney will improve to 2-1 on the season. Rowlett, they're going to fall to 0-3, looking for that first win heading into district, and they take on South Garland next week.
So give Rowlett credit for playing a tough schedule.
Right.
One of the better schedules you'll see.
Throw up the middle. Devontae dancing around. Finally gets hit and tackled, brought down behind the line of scrimmage. 3rd and long coming up.
Yeah, I've lived in this area for 60 years. It's all my life in the Dallas area. You know, McKinney, Plano, and Waxahachie have 3 of the best reputations for high school football over the last 60 years, as you'll find around here.
Well, that Devontae Crow run will be the last play of the football game. 35-9, the final score.
Quick reminder, 2 things, Ethan. A&M tomorrow, 3:30 kick, 2:30 pregame. Your Metroplex home on the radio for A&M football right here as they play Colorado tomorrow afternoon. And don't forget our next Rowlett game, district opener against South Garland. Take it, that'll be at Homer B. Johnson Stadium, 6 o'clock kick, 6:45 pregame. All the Rowlett games right here on KXEZ. And also that's Thursday. Next Friday, we'll have 2nd of 5 Kettle Mills games. They'll take on Life, Waxahachie. Kickoff 7:30, pregame 7:15. Ethan and I will have both games next week here on KXEZ.
35-9, final score. McKinney over the Rowlett Eagles. Your Rowlett Eagles. We are the home of Rowlett Eagle football. 0-3 for the Rowlett Eagles. 2-1 improves the McKinney Lions. They'll head into district play as this 6A matchup concludes, and we will see a lot more football coming at this season. Just game 3, week 3. We're coming back next week from McKinney ISD Stadium in McKinney, Texas. For Scott Powell, for Ethan Brooks, back in the KXEZ studio, helping us out, doing his best work. I'm Ethan Herrera saying good night from McKinney.